Hello and welcome to the Video Game Dads Podcast. This is episode 52.
50 dose.
Yeah, man. Over the hump. Getting closer to 100. Yeah. So we are three guys in a basement that talk gaming, fatherhood, and everything in between. Thank you for joining us. We are your hosts. I am Ben.
I'm Shane.
And I'm Adam.
Yeah. So first things first, no cussing, not promises that we won't have any adult content, but that way you can listen with the kiddos in the room. We talk old gaming, new gaming, a lot of in between. Where can you email us, Adam?
You can email us at videogamedads@yahoo.com.
Yeah, and our Facebook. Where could you find that?
Facebook.com/videogamedads.
Yeah, and you can kind of tweet at us here and there. We don't do much of the social media, as our longtime listeners know, and thank you for the emails. We will get to them today. Around the holidays, it's hard for us to get together.
Very hard.
But it was good that we had an episode recently. Sorry if the audio quality was a little off last time. We were in a new setting. I think we've got things dialed in now. That always kind of happens when we move venues. Electronics don't like to be messed with, so that's how that goes. But yeah, we should have a pretty nice episode, guys. I think we will, of course, talk about our video game book club.
Yep.
And early goof already. One of our book club, we quickly, right before we left, we picked a game, Claymates, which we already did on a previous episode. Yep. This is dad brain for you. So we're only going to talk about one game this time, and then next episode we're going to talk about three. So we'll have two listener picks, and then the dad pick, per usual, for next episode, and we'll just talk about that one game tonight. And the one that was picked by Michael, he is not here tonight, but we will still talk about Jam Vendetta for the GameCube/PS2.
Oh, yeah.
And there's some news about the new Xbox, news about the new PS5,
all kinds of rumors,
the Amico,
rumors.
Stuff like that. Of course, some pickups, things like that. How have you guys been? How's life? We're in the thick of working. How's the fam?
Man, I am in the thick of it right now.
Yeah,
I'm in transition. I just sort of merged with another company, so I've been working on that for the past few weeks, and one of the reasons probably why I missed the last time is because that's one of the things. Been working on it and ironing out details and everything, so it's sort of crazy right now, but a good crazy, not bad crazy like before. So I'm actually really happy right now.
Good,
so
man.
It's
Good.
finally starting to get back into a normal groove where I feel my happy self. So it's going really good, to tell you the truth.
That's good. That's good.
I'm just getting tired of winter.
Oh, my
that's
God.
where I'm
I hear
at.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, here in Kansas City, we've had, I don't know, it seems like snow every day or every other day.
It's not a ton, but it's just like every other day.
Well, it's just crappy, like every day. And I have to drive a fair bit. And, man, it's just bad weather. And I wrecked my car, last Thursday night. And so I was coming home from work, and it was like midnight. And we have a roundabout down the road from my house, and it's down at the bottom of a hill. Mm-hmm. And so you have to stop in order to be able to like turn, right onto this roundabout. So I hit the brakes, nothing. Turn the car the other way, nothing. And it's like being on, skates.
Yeah.
And you can see it, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
And so I slid down there, and I hit the end of this embankment, kind of like where there's a curb.
Uh-huh.
And didn't do any body damage to the car. And this is my old car, thank God. But like totally screwed up my front end. So like the tie rod, the sway bar, the
all the important stuff.
The frame.
The subframe, like all this stuff on that side is just bent. And I only hit it doing like, I don't know, I may have been doing somewhere between 5 and 10 miles an hour, but I hit it perfectly to really jack a lot of stuff up.
Yep.
So and so all my video game money is gone.
Man.
Yep. Yeah. It's and also daycare is like, so because of the snow, we're in a place that could deal with winter weather, but like they'll just close schools if certain things aren't right. And so that's been the other thing too, is you feel like, oh crud, now you got to figure out what to do. I feel like that's a new daycare closed.
Yeah, I feel like that's a new thing now with like snow. Like the night before, they'll just
They'll
cancel.
do it early.
Yeah, they'll do
It's
it
because of the
very
bus
early.
stops, the cold. But what's crazy is this: we have a school attached to ours, but the EEC, the Early Education Center,
Yeah.
is supposed to not close as easily because they know it's like
Yeah.
you bring your kid there or
Yeah.
whatever, and there's less like teachers, it's less like hubbub, and it's not like you need to fill a whole school. But both times recently they've been closing the EEC quicker, and then this last time, luckily this last snow yesterday, so we always record on a Thursday, and then the Monday they didn't close it, luckily today, thank gosh, because I woke up and there's snow and I'm like, oh crud, let me check my text. They're at least texting, which is nice.
Yeah.
But they text early. Yeah, so tis.
Yeah, one of my coworkers was nice enough to come by and pick me up on the way to work this morning because the Hellcat with the slicks on the back
Nah.
was not
No
going
way.
to do it this morning. You know,
That's
So
not making it through.
I would have had 2 wrecked cars. So I was really glad because he's like, "Hey, you want me to come by and pick you up?" I'm like, "Yes, please." I didn't even have to ask. He already knew what the phone call was about.
Should have called me up. The old Chevy F-150 Silverado would have got you through there.
Yeah, he actually has a Chevy 4-wheel drive,
Oh,
you know, and
nice.
so it worked out all right. But yeah, it I was just like, please say yes.
Somebody please get me.
Yeah, I mean, but it's, you know, again, it's like another, you know, inch or two of like ice and snow like every night. It's getting really old. My wife has been on the vacation kick, so every year at around this time she gets sick and tired of winter, so then she starts planning summer vacation. You know, and I keep telling her, like, you know, summer vacation, I want to go to Montana or like Wyoming or Utah or someplace I haven't been before.
Yeah,
nice, somewhere
not
kinda,
super hot and everything.
someplace where it's, you know, kind of nice weather and, you know, something nice to look at, some nature, right?
Yeah.
So like naturey things without a lot of people. But we're always going back to the beach. So this year it's going to be a cruise again, I think. You know, so
Let's go to warm and then let's go to warmer.
yeah, no, exactly. Let's go from hot to hot and humid. Yeah, so that's kind of the thing, but it's because we always book vacation during the time when it's like this outside.
What do you guys say? Book club?
Let's do book club.
Let's do book club.
All right. Let's move on to our video game book club.
Here's the ring. Here's the ring. Ring pop.
You can wear a ring around your finger, ring pop.
I love the way a ring looks. I love the way my ring tastes. Ring pop.
It's a juicy jewel flavor, ring pop.
Will you wear my ring? Ring pop.
Ring pop. It's a lollipop without a stick. A ring of flavor you can lick.
And tart and sour blue raspberry too. So now you can get off the stick and get a ring.
Ring pop.
All right, our video game book club. This episode is brought to you by Ring Pop.
Ring pop.
By Nabisco. I don't know who makes it, but they're
My daughter loves ring pops.
Yeah, I remember thinking they were pretty
youngest.
dang cool back in the day. Yeah.
I got some back in the day, man.
You know,
they're not bad.
I think between that and the push pop for me, I thought was like nice because you could put it in your pocket real quick.
Yeah, that
like
was
a ring
nice.
pop, you break that in class, you better bite it.
You're committed.
Yeah, you're in
committed
trouble
on that bad boy.
Yeah,
for sure.
but a push pop you can like push it back. But the problem with the push pop, and everybody knows this, your finger would get sticky like you stuck it in a dang beehive without any bees in it, because it would just get all gnarly with all your spit mixed with the whatever it's made out of.
Yeah.
And the push pop. But then you can make the push pop into a knife because you could suck the end of it and you make it all pointy.
It's a nice prison weapon.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
It was
That's a
basic.
nice prison weapon.
But that is the most humiliating weapon to be shanked by.
Died by ring pop.
As a whittled down push pop.
But if you think about it, like, it's the perfect weapon because just like ice, man, that thing will dissolve inside the person. They'll be like, well, their blood sugar was up a little bit, but we couldn't find.
there was no weapon found.
Died by
find the
diabetes.
weapon.
We didn't suck on
Yeah,
ring pop.
yeah. Do you guys do that too? Make your ring push pop into
Absolutely,
a
yeah,
point,
yeah. I definitely did that.
You
Yeah,
almost, like,
back in the
cut
day.
Yeah,
yourself
I remember using.
I
the,
haven't had one in probably like 10 or 15
Do you remember
years,
the Fun
so.
Dip? You know, the package, and they had like that. They had the quote unquote
stick?
spoon. Yeah, they
Yeah.
called it a spoon. The stick. And you know, but it was basically a piece of
powdered sugar that's like compressed into
compressed powder.
whatever.
You could whittle those down into a nice little
Yep.
shank too.
Yeah, I couldn't do a shank with those because I just eat the crap out of that stick, man. I had one bite of that stick. I was like, oh boy.
I know.
was
I
just
re-
taking that
I
whole
remember the
bad
first
boy.
time I got like one of those Fun Dips, and I was like, wait a second. So this is just basically a bag of sugar that I that I get to eat with a big thing made out of sugar. Oh, this can't. Nothing bad can happen here.
I was a candy carnivore back in the day, man. My dad would like drop me off at a friend's house and be like, "Here's a 20 spot. Have fun." I'm like, "All right, $20. Let's go."
It just hits you more. Like I'm watching my son. My son's like gonna be 3 here soon, and like he enjoys candy, and I give it to him not often, obviously, because I'm not like terrible. But like when he has it, yes, that joy is unbridled. It is.
Oh, yeah.
It is like when people show those videos of veterans coming home and seeing dogs.
I know
that's like a toddler with candy every time. They are just so jubilant and they're just so excited, so you give them a little bit every once in a while, but like also I think it's just their body's so small it hits them hard. Like I can't get
Definitely.
that rush.
Yeah, well,
I can't get that rush.
Our little, Indy, our little girl, she, so Casey bought one of those big bag of Jelly Bellies, Jelly Belly things, and like some of the Jelly Bellies are good. I mean, they're little tiny, like half-sized jelly beans, So I'll get like 3 or 4 of those every day when I come home from work. I pick them up out of the bowl, and so I'll get like 7 or 8 of them, something like that. And then there'll be like a licorice and a lemon and maybe a grapefruit flavor, so like the ones I don't like.
Yeah.
And then I'll just give them to her, and she's thrilled to have them just because they're pieces of candy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like she's like, oh yeah, I'll take the grapefruit, and I'm eating like the pear or the buttered popcorn or one of the ones I like.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny because she has no frame of reference. She thinks all the crappy ones are good.
Yeah. No, if we give any kind of like soda to our kids, like if we go to a movie, like that's my big thing is like if we go to a movie, we're getting soda. Have you been to a movie in a while? Have you guys?
Yeah, I go to movies.
When's the last time you've been to a movie?
I went and saw the new Star Wars.
For a while there, we haven't gone to the movie for like 2 years.
Oh,
So.
no. Maybe I saw Cats, remember? Did I talk about it last
Oh
episode?
no, you didn't.
Maybe because
was it as bad as they say?
I saw Cats with my niece because
Was it
I'm
bad?
a nice uncle. Yeah, it was terrible. It
Oh,
was
okay.
great. Did I
Okay.
not talk about it?
No, you
No.
haven't. I was
No.
creeped out by the trailers enough that I was like, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have watched.
I
it
just keep
anyways,
hearing bad
but-
things about it.
It was bizarre. Not to pull away, but now we're talking about Cats. It was 100% bizarre. I still don't know what happened. I couldn't fall asleep because I did fall asleep for about 15 minutes, but the problem is that movie is so random and it doesn't make up its mind what it wants to do. Because I get a musical, I get whatever.
Yeah.
The music's not terrible, but the problem is the music is very meant for the stage.
Yeah.
So like you're supposed to look around. You're not supposed to look at one thing. It's like looking at a soccer game on TV and a soccer game live, or pick any sport when it's very different. Unlike football, where it's actually probably better to see it on TV.
Yeah.
Your eyes don't know where to go. So, but the whole way it's like the whole thing's like angelical cats. It says this over and over. Some cats wear clothes, some do, some don't. Some cats don't know the rules. You shall not pass guy. What's his name? Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor.
Is that it?
No, Ewan McGregor's the young guy. I'm blanking.
Sorry. Well, anyway, Sir, you shall not pass guy or Harry Potter man, whatever. He Magneto. Does that help?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I know who you're talking about.
So
I just can't
anyway,
remember
that
his name.
English actor, they got him to do it, and I feel like everybody just had their own idea of what this movie was going to be, and then they just went with it because he went full blown cat. Other people are like human cats. He went 100% cat, where he's at one point. He's going meow meow meow, and he licks his hand and puts it over his. No one else does that through the whole movie.
Yeah,
and
that'd
then,
be awkward.
And then some people
Very
wear
awkward.
pants, some do, some don't. Everybody seems there's these overtones of like sexuality, and
That's weird.
even the okay, so they walk on 2 legs like humans.
Yeah.
Yet when Jennifer, do you guys know her name? What's the one? She could sing really well. She was on American Idol. or
Jennifer
whatever.
Hudson.
Jennifer Hudson,
Yeah.
freaking Oscar winning, comes out and she's like the broken cat, the cat that's all raggedy and that like no one likes, and they're like, get away, cat, and everybody goes oh, and it is so weird to see. It's off-putting to see people hiss at each other, and
Yeah.
they do it constantly. And with her, she comes in and she's all torn up looking, and she's like this Oscar winning singer, and she comes in, she sings this song like memory, and then she turns around and gets on all 4s and starts walking down an alley for like 20 seconds. I'm like, how did you
Awkward.
do wrong, this lady? So, and no one else is on all 4s the whole time. It's like they decided, oh, she gets to be on look like a cat walking away, and it was the most awkward thing. But they have toes.
That sounds very cringe.
Back
Oh,
to
boy.
you talking about you stealing soda. Go.
Yeah, we steal soda. That's what we do.
Hey, I bring in the reason I looked at you
Oh,
was
we
not
do
because
that
I'm
too.
judging you, is because I just bring in the freaking things in my wife's
Yeah,
purse.
we do the candy in the purse trick.
Yeah,
Oh, we
Target.
do that. We go deep. We go even McDonald's sometimes. I think.
Yeah, whatever.
Jeez,
As long as you
we're going deep.
Listen, as long as you clean it up. I hate the people
No,
that bring
we
in
take
like
everything
a pizza
with
box
us. I'm very
and leave a pizza box in
No,
the
no,
middle
I'm
of
not
the
doing
crap.
that.
Yeah.
But as soon as our kids have any kind of sugar like that or anything, because every once in a while, if like we get pizza or anything like that, we get soda and we try to get like A&W, but they always say, oh, we want Papa Pepsi because their grandpa drinks a ton of Pepsi. So if they have 1 cup of Pepsi or 1 cup of anything with caffeine, forget about the worst thing you could ever do with your life, man. It is. Like, they stay up until... They stay up 2 hours
caffeine
past
versus
yes,
sugar? Oh,
yes.
yeah, no.
Caffeine and sugar. I mean, just in general, even like candy or anything, because we give them candy when we go to the movies too, because we don't go
They're like,
often. Oh, they get the double
Yeah,
fill, so
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
insane.
No.
So it's like 2 or 3 hours past their bedtime because they can't like unwind down. Yeah, it's out. It's banned in our house.
I actually went to a movie here recently, which never happens, but I saw the new Star Wars. Right?
Oh, really?
And I went to the 4D theater. Have you guys been to one of these things?
I've heard about it.
Where it has the seats that move, and then it has like
Yeah,
fog
yeah,
that comes
yeah.
in the theater, snows in the theater. There's
Who does that? Is it AMC or is it?
It's B&B theaters down here.
Oh yeah,
But,
B&B is the one that's the big one. That
but in
pushes
any
that.
respect,
Yeah.
that, like you sit in these chairs and they move around and they it's kind of like being on a ride while the movie's going on. And I thought it was pretty cool actually.
Yeah.
Aside from it has the smells, it puts the smells out. So if they're in a
Yeah,
grassy
that's a
field,
little-
it smells like a grassy field.
Wow.
The only thing that I found distracting about it is that they had a strobe light that would strobe when the lightsabers would hit or like lightning would strike.
a little bit too much.
Yeah, I found that to be a little bit too much, but the rest of it was kind of neat. So it was a unique experience. A lot of people hated a lot on that new Star Wars movie, though.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it, so I can't say.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
personally thought that it was. I mean, if you could look past the huge gaping plot holes,
Yeah.
and there are a couple. It was a pretty good movie. You know, I mean, I thought that it was, it fleshed out a couple of the characters a little bit. If you could turn that part of your brain off, then it actually wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are points in it where you're like, that character wouldn't do that. No, you can't do that in the Star Wars universe. But
Yeah.
if you can turn the nerd part off, in your brain,
Yeah.
then it's an entertaining movie.
It
Yeah.
always seems like those are just the middle of the road. Like that's what the past like
Well,
2
the
or
new
3
ones-
of
yeah,
the
the new
new
ones
ones
have
have
been.
been like middle of the road, just fan favorite.
Well, the one
not
that
fans
everybody
because they're
likes
hating
out
on
of the
it,
new
but-
ones is the Force Awakens, and I was kind of meh on the Force Awakens. That's actually the one I like the least.
But they're not horrible. They're not like
Yeah.
episode 1 or 2.
Yeah,
Like those
I
are-
watched the
Jar Jar Binks!
I watched the Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian's awesome, dude.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, Baby Yoda, man.
I haven't watched it yet.
That's on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So it's basically like 9 hours or whatever. Yeah, it's very it's different. It's not set like a movie. It is set like a cool little episodic adventure kind of serial type. One guy doing the same thing, that you have some through lines. It's very much kind of like if Star Wars and Firefly had a baby. Mm-hmm. There's a little of that.
Yeah, it's a little westernish. Yeah.
Yeah. And a little like tongue in cheek, and like we're not doing a bunch of set pieces. We're doing 3 set pieces, and that's it.
My
it's kinda
favorite part
nice.
of the show is that there's not that much dialogue.
Uh-huh.
Like it's kind of a quiet show.
Yeah.
So
It's not a bad thing.
So no,
sometimes.
it's not. But the great thing about it is like the dialogue has some meaning to it. It's
Yeah.
not too.
Everything they say means something.
Well, that's what I
actually,
mean. But
instead
you
of
know,
just talking.
Yeah, but the character he just kind of says what needs to be said. And he's real cut and dry about it. I don't know. It's just kind of a different pace. I think than most of what's out there.
I think too. It was the new movies had to basically do a new arch or whatever the heck, a new thing in 3 movies, and you're talking that's basically like 6 hours. And nowadays you see stuff like The Mandalorian had 9 hours to talk about just one guy and his little adventure, and then you were trying to tie in the old trilogy, or I'm sorry, the original trilogy, mixed with the new trilogy. So what someone suggested what they should have done is the first movie not started the trilogy and just tied up the
Everything,
original
just-
3 of Harrison Ford,
Yeah,
Carrie when she was still
makes
alive,
sense.
and Mark Hamill, and basically then use that as a bridge. So then you can drop those characters, and then you have them all on screen together one more time, which is what you wanted, which they never did. That was the big thing people wanted. Like the first one, okay, you didn't. It felt like it was wanting to start something, but then use the old stuff. So then it didn't really make anybody super happy. And yeah, someone said that. Like if they just would have had the original 3 and then tailed it into the new one and dropped the original 3 and just maybe, as satellite
yeah.
figures.
It would be like set in a nursing home in space.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could argue over like the good Jello versus the bad Jello.
Yeah.
Give
It's
me
all
that red stuff.
it's all
Give me
hindsight.
that red
It's all
Jello.
hindsight of it. We're not sorry. There's plenty of podcasts talking about Star Wars, so we can move on from
All
there.
right,
Yeah.
Def Jam Vendetta.
So our video game book club is where we talk about a game that's often overlooked, misunderstood, not in the top 15% of whatever system library we're talking about. And then we talk about it we play it in between episodes and talk about it much like a book club. So last time, most of the time we have a listener pick. This time, obviously, since we goofed and tried to pick the same game twice, we ended up just doing our dad pick. Since we are on the GameCube, that was Michael, and Michael picked Def Jam.
I keep saying it wrong.
Dang
too.
it.
Def
Def Jam Vendetta, which is a very interesting pick, and I am very happy he picked this.
He picked a good one. He picked
Yeah,
a very good one.
Michael
and-
Def Jam Vendetta, which came out in 2003 for the GameCube and the PS2. What can you tell us about it?
Stats now.
Adam?
Stats. So this thing came out in 2003 in Japan and North America. It's published by EA, and I thought this was kind of interesting.
that's
So this
weird.
came out under the EA big logo.
Everything was
So there was all these games back at this time. So NBA Street, NFL
SXX.
Street, FIFA Street, yeah, SSX.
Yeah.
I mean, what else am I missing here? I think was Ready to Rumble a big game, but they had all these kind of goofy sports games, like
Yeah.
arcadey sports
More
games,
arcadey
and they all
stuff,
kind of
yep.
came out under this sort of banner. It was developed by EA Canada and the AKI Corporation, whoever
It's just-
that is.
Yeah, EA,
NFL Street, was that
EA Canada. Yeah,
was that one? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Sweet,
yeah. NBA Street, NFL Street, all those, and I really like the NBA Street / NFL Street games. If you like,
NBA
if
was
you like
great.
Blitz or Hits
Yeah.
or NBA Jam, those kinds of things, like these are sort of updated versions, or Sega Soccer Slam,
Yeah.
or Mario Strikers.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, would be something else that's kind of similar. But I actually think these are the best EA Sports games, the ones with the big logo.
Yep.
To this day, I think they're the best EA Sports games that EA ever made, or at least maybe I should qualify that, the most fun EA Sports games that have ever been made. I mean, they're certainly more in-depth simulations.
It was definitely something different because, like, you know what we
Well,
see
but they were
EA
made-
now.
Yeah,
Is now
yeah.
is just it's just pump out the same thing, pump out the same.
Well, it's all
thing
about
every-
DLC, with
Yep.
EA games. I
Yeah.
mean, here's some of the
Ugh.
game, and you got to pay, some fee for the rest of
Yep.
it. But this was just like, we're just going to make these games that are kind of simple, but they're just sort of fun.
Yeah.
And they're just made sort of for fun. And so this whole like family of games, if they have the EA big logo
Yeah.
on them.
They need to
I-
bring that back.
Yeah, no, but I generally like those, pretty much everything with that logo on it when I think about it. I mean, even SSX, which is just kind of like a dumb snowboarding game.
Yeah.
Tons of fun, man. SSX 1, 2, and 3, all those
Tricky.
games are,
Yeah,
all
great
those games are fun.
Yeah, just fun games.
But this kind of falls into that family of games. And I mean, I guess we can talk plot.
Yeah, well, I mean, the original.
Yeah.
So the game was actually supposed to be a wrestling game initially.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
And so it fell through. I don't know if it was Vince McMahon or what, but this is when they were trying to do this kind of. They had a wrestling game. They were planning on using the same engine. I forget what it was called, but
I think
it was,
it's the AKI
Yes,
engine.
thing,
It's like what they use for like Fire Pro,
yeah,
in Japan.
and
Oh, really?
and still NWO and the stuff
I mean, of
here.
this generation.
Oh, really?
yeah.
So THQ used that engine?
Yes,
Oh,
yes. So
I'm gonna
it-
have to jump in
yeah.
Fire Pro because I never dove into that. Then wow.
So that's why half of the game.
Well, it's not all Fire Pro. I mean, Fire Pro's like gone back forever, all the way back to like
Okay,
NES. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so the nice thing was the engine part of the game was already kind of there because they'd been using it for years for the NWO games, the Attitude games, that kind of thing. And ultimately, a big proponent of how this got done was Method Man. Method Man loves games. He loves SOCOM. He loves PlayStation. I think the pitch was the pitch came, but then also the rap community was big on this stuff. I mean, Def Jam, Wu-Tang, all this other stuff. So you have this roster of stars that really love these type of games where it's a mix of and initially I forgot it was a wrestling game.
It's sort of a perfect storm.
I
yeah.
thought it was a fighting game, but it is basically if you
it's a straight up like wrestling game.
Yeah, if you like the NWO games, if you like wrestling games before they got to the point where you were saying like about how games are now, wrestling games just like NFL games now that's all Madden. I used to love the ESPN games 15 years ago. Now we're dealing with the same game. So if you like a good simulation football game that plays well and doesn't have glitches, you've been out of luck for 15 years.
Yeah.
Same with almost wrestling games. It hasn't been that long. They were good about 10 years ago. But after SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, 2010, you're getting into like doldrums of wrestling games.
There really has been a decline.
Yeah. And so if you like a good wrestling game, holy cow, I'm just saying, like, go back and look at this, because at first I wasn't even sure what this was, but it was well reviewed, well received, and
sold well. Everything
sold well, but it was under the Def Jam license, so you have this kind of story, which is what you were alluding to, Adam.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, it's an underground, fighting club.
The way I looked at it was it's
Yeah.
pretty much like a Lionheart from Van Damme. It's pretty much he's like a
Kind of, yeah.
It's pretty much
mixed with-
Lionheart
It makes
with rappers.
But
Okay.
mixed with hip hop,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
whole thing.
I was actually going to say,
Where are you gonna?
if Fast and the Furious met 8 Mile.
I don't have friends. I got family.
My name is what? My name is
Breezy. Let me show you how to keep the dice rolling when you're doing that thing over there. Hey. Let's go! Cause I'm feeling like I'm running and I'm feeling like I gotta get away. Better know that I don't and I won't ever stop. Cause you know I gotta win every day. Go! See, really wanna pop me. Go! Just know that you will never flop me. And I know that I gotta be a little cocky. Go! You ain't never gonna stop me. Every time I come a nigga gotta set it, then I gotta go and then I gotta get it, then I gotta blow and then I gotta shut it. Any little thing a nigga think that he be doing, cause it doesn't matter, cause I'm gonna dead it. Then I'm gonna murder everything and anything about it. Boom, about a bing. I gotta do a lot of things to make it clearer to a couple niggas that I always win and then I gotta get it again and again and again. And I be doing it to death and now I move a little foul. Nigga better call a rap and everybody know my style. Niggas know that I'm the best when it comes to doing this. And I be banging on my chest and I bang in the east and I banging in the west. And I come to give you more and I will never give you less. You will hear it in the street or you can read it in the press. Do you really wanna know what's next? Let's go. See the way we on it and we all up in the race. And you know we gotta go and try to keep up with the pace. And we struggling and hustling to set it and to get it. And we always gotta do it, take it to another place. Gotta taste it and I gotta grab it. And I gotta cut all through this traffic just to be at the top of the dome. But I know I gotta have it.
Yeah, something like
where
that.
it's kind of dark and silly, and it's early 2000s, where you have to remember early 2000s hip hop, people thought it was kind of lame and whatever, and they liked the original hip hop, because now you're getting this new generation of it's just videos and girls and money and flash, and then
And
you
2
have
minutes.
this and you have this thing about, and now you have the same thing with this isn't my genre, but I still like, look at a few documentaries and people who know what they're talking about and sound producers. You'll talk about now it's mumble rap that's been going on the last 5-6 years, which I remember from when the Royals won the World Series 5 years ago, and they're all using these songs. I'm just like, I can't understand what anybody's saying. It's all this and it's all this rap where I can't hear it. And now I know, like, the old school, the rappers from this generation, the Jay-Z and the Method Man
Nas and
and
everything,
and Eminem and all this. Like it's a very distinct difference of this kind of mumble rap stuff that I don't like, because I feel like you don't know what to rhyme, so you just say in between it. So it's funny that at the time Def Jam was kind of thought of this generation, Ludacris, Luda, and all this other stuff. It's kind of like hokey, we're not that far removed from Cisco the Dragon, and it's like you can't tell when it's like, are you doing this for selling records? Are you selling this just for the money? And then you find out they're
I don't know,
renting
man. It's
stuff.
all about the hype train. I mean, it's
it's just it's interesting, because I'm just looking back on it now fonder than I did when I was in it. Because when I was in it in college, I was like, okay, Def Jam, whatever. You guys are moving on to something else. But now I feel like, heck yeah, this is
a game.
great compared
this is
to
a
the crap
game,
now.
and the cohort that is involved in it. So we're talking like what Method Man, like you've mentioned,
DMX.
DMX. I actually,
now that Ja Rule in there,
if I
now
had played
Ja
this
Rule's
back
in
in
there.
college, I would have been just
Busta's
kind of
in
like,
the
oh, this
sequel.
is sort of lame, honestly.
Yeah.
But
Nick's gonna give
now
it to
that like I've had time since then,
Yeah, it's great.
Like this is better now than it was back then,
Yeah.
just because of the cast of characters
Yeah.
that are
See,
involved. you
Yeah,
know?
because
Complete up-
Tupac was done, and then Big was done. Then you had this next group, and you're just kind of like, okay, I'm just whatever.
See.
But now, yeah, heck
no,
yeah.
man, that's all nostalgic. You know, all these guys.
I'm different from you guys. Just to let you guys know, I listen to hip hop, and I listen from '90 to even now. I listen to like the new stuff now.
Yeah.
There's some stuff where
I'll
I can
listen to some.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll listen to some, and it's horrible, but it's catchy. That's to me is hip hop. So
you like the new stuff? Even.
I do. Yeah,
really.
there's some new stuff that I actually don't mind, but if I go in 10 years from now, it's going to be god awful.
You know,
Yeah.
But they're like literally, there's stuff from like 10 years ago that I listened to, and I'm like, that's all god awful.
just- you know, honestly-
but there's timeless classes like Dr. Dre, like those,
Yeah.
like the Chronic. Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's an amazing
Ice
album.
Cube, Ice T. I feel
Even
like
though it's a rap album, that is an amazing album.
what I miss is like the rhyming. There was actual rhyme.
Yes, there was actual
and
rhyming.
Now it's
Absolutely.
not. Now it's a
No.
lot of like saying
It's the
two-
same words repeated over and over for 2 minutes, and then the song's over.
Yeah.
It's SoundCloud rapping.
I
I
just-
guess that's
yeah.
what they call
I don't know,
it.
man.
It's
my
ridiculous.
all my hip hop like
But I
listening,
sorta like it
listening and or
sometimes.
viewing now is relegated to YouTube because my 2-year-old she loves to like dance, to
Oh, yeah.
anything. Yeah. So we put on Jabberwocky videos or Jabberwocky's like the dance
little
troupe.
dance guy. Yeah.
Yeah, or
Dance
just
guys.
old school hip hop, and just watching her dance around. That stuff is just hilarious and awesome.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, no. Sebastian loves him some Salt and Pepper.
Little Salt and
yeah.
Pepper?
He will listen
Oh,
to
yeah.
Push It. He'd be like, play Push It. It's a cute. I think he could go
I
on
know,
Ellen.
it's like son, don't learn the lyrics. Yeah.
My kids are confused. I listen to so much just randomness, like Sir Mix a lot sometimes, or just
Dude.
like
So I was listening to Sir Mix a lot the other day. Have you heard the song Buttermilk Biscuits?
oh yeah,
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
I mean, it's like that came on so I was like Spotifying it or whatever the other
Yeah.
day, and I was like, oh, Buttermilk Biscuits. I've not heard this in forever.
Good thing old
Yeah.
hide the kid's ears right now. Put them on the glass. Don't believe.
Yeah.
they had that on there. As
You know,
well.
the only thing that would have made this game better is if they would have had some even older hip hop people in it.
Absolutely.
If Sir Mix-a-Lot would have
That's
been
why I
in it.
think
and,
right now that's what I want to transition into, because I think if they would have done this, or hopefully they make another one, because I think it'd be great to have like a Legends in the like sort of like a mid tier, and then like now, and then have like the new guys sort of their combos very basic, like very basic, just like BBBB.
I mean,
But then like the older guys have
yeah.
like a more of a breakdown combo kind
yeah,
of deal. That'd be
the
funny.
licensing would have been too hard, but this game has a
Oh
ton
yeah,
of
it'd
play.
be a nightmare for
It has a
licensing.
ton of characters.
Yeah, we should
in
actually
it.
talk about
Yeah.
some of the gameplay and stuff
Yeah,
like
so
that.
it's got I think 45 or 46 different characters, but there's only the small number of like recognizable.
Oh, there's only
rappers,
like
you know.
on this first one. There's actually only like 10 to 12 hip hop guys. Actually, I got the list right here. Let me.
That's what I'm
break
saying.
it.
They're
You
the
guys-
recognizable
yeah.
people, then there's a
Let me
bunch of
see.
other people, but
Yeah, so there's also some generic
The whole
ones. Like
list,
there's
yeah.
kind of, so you can pick from your protagonist, which is like 4 different guys.
very stereotypical.
Yeah,
dudes.
kind of
Yeah.
stereotypical, but at least they've got their own look. They got kind of the white guy who's like ex-army, who's like discharged dishonorably or whatever. He got a chip on his shoulder. They've all got a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
There's the ex-basketball player that didn't quite make it or blew out something, and then there's the ex kind of guy who's like kind of doing gangster stuff and he wanted to get out of that. What I will say is they didn't just do 2. They didn't do like 2 dudes. They did 4, and they at least gave them all a kind of a different backstory.
Yeah.
And you go through the same like story mode unless you want to just go against 2 other people. And the story mode is like what you said. It's very cliche, super cliche.
Yeah.
And a lot of This is back when you still like dissed people and
Yeah.
like dissed. Part of this stuff wouldn't fly. Like the girl,
Oh,
the
yeah,
women are kind of represented
the
as
women
just your
thing,
girlfriend, and you can like have these. So after you like do 2 or 3 story missions, you have these girls that are fawning over you that look super like early 2000s like just eye candy.
Yeah.
But then they have them fight, so you're thinking like, oh, okay, the girls are more than eye candy, you can fight, but you're just basically fighting another girl in a cat fight.
Over
and
a
you're
man.
picking your
Yeah.
girl if you want to change them, basically like, oh, a blonde's coming up, I'll pick her, so then that way she could beat up your current girlfriend. It's kind of like that stuff wouldn't fly now.
Nah.
But it's at least they made it so it's I don't know, I guess that they are fighting in it, so it does a little bit more than the norm, but you're basically going against basically a Eazy-E wannabe guy that just he like says your mama, or he's like,
that'd be great.
if your butt can't do some change, I'm ready to cash it in. I don't know what
Yeah.
he said. He just says some crazy stuff. It's just all like, you're dissing everybody.
Yeah.
It's
Let me break down some of the list of the rappers. So Capone, don't really remember
Yeah,
him. I'm not
Capone.
gonna lie. DMX,
yeah.
Yeah. Gonna
he
give
gonna
it
give
to
it to
you.
you. He's definitely gonna
He
give
is
it to
gonna
you.
give it to you.
Gonna give it to you. Funkmaster Flex. Funkmaster Flex,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
Flex,
That's old school. Yeah.
Yeah. Ghostface Killer.
Yeah.
Wu-Tang Clan right there.
You said killer. I mean,
Killer.
we're gonna get crap for that.
Ghostface Killer.
Yeah. No,
Wu-Tang
don't put an
Clan.
R at the end of that, buddy.
Whatever.
The Wu-Tang.
Sucking. I
Have
listen to
you
a
guys
lot
ever
of
seen that?
Wu-Tang.
Have you guys seen the
Come at me.
Wu-Tang controller?
What's that?
The Wu-Tang controller.
No.
No, there's like a
Wu-Tang
controller. I think it's for PlayStation. It's like literally
There's a
shaped,
PlayStation
like a
game,
W.
Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah, it's literally shaped like the Wu-Tang
I
symbol.
remember
Shaolin
that.
monks,
yeah.
Yeah, it's a real thing. I can't remember if it's Xbox or PS2 or something came out on, but at any rate.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was the thing.
It's a real thing.
Joe Budden. You guys remember the Joe Budden?
Uh-uh.
Pump it up. Pump it up. That was horrible. It's god awful.
It's all right. Who else?
Is that all I got?
No, there's Redman. There's
Redman, Method Man, Method Man, Redman. What? I didn't take my other screenshot of the other ones. Dang it.
So
What
they
the
all
heck?
kind of have their own signature moves, and I forget what's called, like Fury or something like that. You build up your momentum is big in this game, so much so that actually if you start losing
Punching wise,
you get in trouble. Like momentum's big. If you start getting hit like 2 or 3 times, your power bar goes up and theirs goes up pretty fast. So if you kind of don't know what you're doing, but it's basically pretty easy. You grapple, you throw them. You can do moves off the ropes. You can do jumping moves. It's pretty fluid once you get into it, and it's the animation is very good. What I like about it is they do an over stylized kind of look, much like
they're all pumped up on steroids.
the wrestling
and
stuff.
It's
But
like cartoony almost.
but it's not. Yeah, it's not.
But it's not godly. It's just
It's not
reasonable. It's reasonable.
Yeah, it's
type
not
of deal.
hyper real, which is what the stuff they try to do now. And a lot of the stuff from PS2 they did. So here they rounded the facial features and things like that. They made everybody look like NFL Street and NBA Jam, where they kind of exaggerate some of the features, but that holds up really well compared to if you look at like things like the Tomb Raiders and the fill in the blank, where it just tries to look real, or the regular NBA games from that era or something like their sports games that were simulation. They just did not look good. So and that helps where they're like, hey, make my muscles look bigger. Everybody looks bigger. Like DMX is a muscly guy, and he looks like ridiculously Barry Bonds roided out.
Everybody's juiced out in this game.
Yeah.
But it makes sense though. It's more fun.
It is a very fun game. The gameplay is awesome. The gameplay is really, really tight. I think
super tight, man.
Yeah.
Like I love it. It's such a throwback to the THQ wrestling games.
I wish I would have
it.
played this back in the day, to be honest with you. I really wish I would have played it.
I loved it, man.
I
Playing
did not.
it back in the day, and now it's still a great game in my opinion.
Did you
I
play
love it.
2-player against friends or something?
Yeah. Used to play a little bit of 2-player, but mostly we'd just take turns because we didn't do competitive on that one, but more taking turns and just working through the story and everything.
Yeah.
Not that it was a deep story, but it's just working our way through it to get more characters and stuff. So.
I ended up YouTubing all the supers and stuff. Those moves are ridiculous. Nowadays with Mortal Kombat, it ruins it. Because Mortal Kombat...
That's kind of like understatement.
That's why I sort of like...
Mortal Kombat's nuts, but the stuff they do, like one point you're doing a jump rope with a guy's arms. At one point, he's like kicking him in the head as he jumps and like flings him around. He's jumping through him, and it's just done so well, and the camera and everything.
Yeah.
Like the guys who made this, the EA
they
big guys
had fun with
knew-
it. Yeah,
yeah, but they did it. They made this game good, because how many times have you seen like a Spawn game that's bad, or a game like this where you're like, or Shaq Fu or whatever, where you're like, they use a license and they don't quite go with it. Like, this was an amazing game that was better because of the license. I'm very impressed.
Yeah, they did a like great job of like, it's not realistic, but it's not super unrealistic. Like, it's a nice in between.
arcadey.
Yeah, it's arcadey, but it's somewhat real. Like NBA Street just knocked it home on that too,
So
in my opinion, on the very first 1 and 2.
So I have a general question for both of you. When it comes to just wrestling games, just as a whole, like all wrestling games, do you prefer polygonal 3D games like this one, or do you prefer sprite-based games like the old WWF WrestleMania kind of games?
No, this one.
So it's a low question for me, because I played WWF All Stars for the Game Boy. That's my all-time favorite wrestling game. I love the heck out of that game. It's still, and now looking back, they made 5 wrestling games for the Game Boy. I got lucky and randomly picked the best one, because I saw somebody did reviews on all 5, and it was like that one, and the rest were like not as
Garbage,
good.
yeah.
So I got lucky and love that game, and I still play it and pop it in every once in a while. But besides that, yeah, I never played Fire Pro. I heard it's awesome, but you have to really get into it and know the nuance. I never played for, I played the NES one, but I never played the arcade one that you love,
WrestleFest.
WrestleFest.
WrestleFest is amazing.
WrestleFest is so great.
So great.
Yeah,
man.
the NES
great.
one is still my favorite one, just
Yeah.
because of
nostalgia.
It had Bam Bam Bigelow.
Oh, man.
Didn't it have Andre the Giant?
Yeah, it has
Honky
Andre the
Tonk
Giant.
Man?
Honky Tonk Man's in it. Oh yeah.
Oh, man.
And each one of them has their own
Forget
little
about
intro
it.
music. You know, their little and it's the intro
Yep.
music that you saw on TV. I just remember I played that game hours and hours and hours,
Yeah.
and I actually popped it in not long ago and played it with my 6-year-old. You know, and
Yeah.
he's like, this is stupid, and I'm like, no, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened. Like
Funny.
you don't understand.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I think you could like both. I kind of like both, but this one, if you liked the WWF versus NWO that we've talked about before, and this is a little more accessible, I wish they would remake this.
I wish they would. Yeah.
I wish they'd remake all these old games. Like they would just
Yes.
like revamp them, make a nice compilation.
Well, I mean,
Yes.
we could talk about some options with this next console coming up in another segment. Maybe it doesn't even need to. You just need the old disc. But I think we'd be amiss by not talking about the next game, because just saying that, they had a sequel, Def Jam Fight for New York.
Yeah.
Correct, yep.
And just
Expanded roster.
glancing on this one, because I didn't play it.
Yeah.
It's an improvement on the first.
Yep.
You have a bigger roster. You have everybody realize, like, oh, this game was awesome, so everybody wants to get in it. The voiceover work.
Great.
They just basically had a bigger budget. The Fight for New York one, I think less people remembered playing, but it was probably the better game.
Definitely.
You can't go wrong with either game.
No.
It's more expensive, I guess.
It is
the
more
second one.
expensive.
So
Yeah,
this
for
one's
whatever
only-
reason, it didn't sell as much. I don't think, but
Yeah, this one CIB is only like $13-15. So
the other can run you easily over 50.
oh yeah, it's like 60, 65, and it's hard.
Which doesn't, and I think a lot of times you can maybe randomly find it
Which is
in
the better
a
game.
thrift store or something, because it looks like a sports game. I probably I would be lying if I didn't say probably in the last 10 years I probably passed it up, not realizing what the heck it was.
Whole second, was it PS3 or Xbox 360 version?
Yeah,
There
so-
was. It was garbage.
Well,
though, right?
okay, so there's 4 games in the series of Def Jam.
Okay.
The first one is this, then Fight for New York. Then they were going to
best,
make a
yeah.
third one, and then they started coming out with a new idea, and it was called Def Jam Icon.
yeah.
And so Def Jam Icon came out for the 360 and PS3.
Yep.
This was like 2007, and this was on the new systems, and it was hyped that it was going to be all like totally different. It was going to be more robust.
Why?
And the problem was they ended up making a game that you were wrestling in the streets, but now you had superpowers. And as much as Shane loves, super overpowered people, it looked really good. The problem with that game is the graphics and the presentation overtook the gameplay, unlike the first one, which is why it was lightning in a bottle, where the graphics and gameplay and presentation matched together, right?
Yep.
And then
They
Icon
coexisted, yeah.
is not a fun game to play, but it looks really good. And it has all this weird settings where you're kind of in a dead or
That sounds
alive
that sounds like
ring.
EA games for the last decade.
Yeah,
I
Just in a
know.
nutshell.
well,
That's
no.
where they got lost.
Here's the
Yeah.
problem.
This is the beginning of the end for them.
EA Canada
Ugh.
did not do Icon. That is the problem. It went over to EA Chicago, and EA Big was not doing it anymore. So it changed completely. You had a really cool like create a player where the create a player actually was pretty in depth, but Icon itself, like it went for style. It tried to stylize itself, but the problem is it used a bunch of Instagram filters. So the scenes would look really bad. Like you'd have a really good scene, then all of a sudden they would oversaturate it with like blue and white lights and blow it out. So it ended up like looking bad randomly. And it was hard to look at. And then after that, they were going to make another sequel kind of going back to the original, but I think it lost funding, and then it turned into Def Jam Rap Star to get on the Guitar Hero phase.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
That was
Wasn't
the
it-
fourth game. Was
Yeah.
it was basically
Oh,
a
man,
rap game.
I totally forgot about that whole thing.
That's
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
so-
one of those was
what,
so
a, what,
Guitar-
a what a pitiful end.
Yeah, so
Oh,
Guitar
yeah.
Hero and everything was like getting big. So they're like, duh, we got to make a rapping game. So Def Jam Rap Star came out, but unfortunately, like all the servers are gone. It all just so like if you were to play that now, you can't get any of the DLC, which is where the game really like
You just rap into
supposedly
yourself.
shined. Yeah, it's a $1 game. It's like one of those karaoke
nothing,
games
yeah.
basically. So that was unfortunately the end of Def Jam, which is why I think the first two games should be remastered.
Yeah,
but you
definitely.
know, if this new PS5 does
They
what
need
it
to
says
get the
it does,
they need to get the
we'll
guys
play
that
it.
made Saints Row to redo a Def Jam game. You know,
That wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, I feel like you're not going to be able to get this again because, like,
I know,
unless
it
those
feels-
rappers get together and like kickstart this thing,
It seems
it's
like
never
such
gonna
a
happen.
license. Yeah, just trying to sign people, each individual person. Like NBA Jam has trouble with this, and just imagine rappers trying to get that to get it all done on a video
Because
game.
yeah, really,
Ugh.
you would have to have the rappers that are popular now, and I don't even know who that is. Drake. I don't even know who that is.
neither do I. I think you just
Takashi
referenced
69,
You'd have Nicki Minaj going in there with her Anaconda hits. I don't know.
21 Savage.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm old.
Okay. I'm still probably 5 years behind. Billy Eyelashes.
Billy Eyelashes.
She just won a bunch of Grammys, man. I don't know. She
I don't
could
even
do
know
a
who that-
super.
I
I don't know,
who that
man.
suplex
is.
move.
I from one of those award shows. I'm like, who are these people?
I didn't watch it.
She 18.
Yeah.
She won Album of the Year. She won 5 Grammys. 18 years old. I was
Whatever. I saw there she is.
getting lost in the mall.
You know, one of the best parts of getting older, though, there are a few things that are good about getting older. One of the best parts is I don't have to listen to any crap I don't want to. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know, I remember being subjected to a lot of things I didn't care for, you know, in high school just because you had to be exposed to it
Yeah.
just because
Yeah.
that was the going thing.
But I feel like I'm also gonna miss stuff like Green Day and stuff. Like if I was grown up, those people have been like, oh, what's this crap? Like I don't know. I feel like shoot, I would have missed the you know what I mean? Because the parents weren't listening to Green Day. It was the kids. But looking back on, it, I'm like, that was our stuff. There has to be the equivalent of that
everything.
now.
So now that my kids are getting a little, I mean, not old, but I mean 6, whatever. But they, they go to school. So I'm
Talking
here.
early Green Day, by the way. Just
Yeah,
for
yeah.
people
But
that know,
but
I
I'm
don't know.
just saying, like, it's some of their older friends and that kind of thing. Like everything the new kids listen to, it all sucks. Nothing is as good.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like an old man thing to say, but I literally think it's true. Everything pretty much sucks now.
You're out that old man tip.
Yeah, no, I'm serious.
You are.
Yeah, I don't think it's
all
me being old.
sucks.
It really does
Get off
suck.
my yard. My grass is green. Get off of it.
Yeah, exactly. Get off my yard. Get off my lawn.
Well, as
Get
you
off my
say,
lawn. Yeah, that's what
as
I'm
I
saying.
see when I see a commercial for a Tyler Perry movie, I tell it's not meant for us. I don't know. It's like that 18-year-old that won the Grammys. I was kind of like at first, I'm like, who is this person? You won more Grammys than this person, than that person,
the
than
Michael
this.
Phelps of Grammys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, how do you do it? And I went and actually listened to her dang album because I was doing something else, and I was like, okay, I get it. Like, yes, it's mainly like, there's 13-year-olds who think they're depressed who listen to this and all this. But I'm like, oh, she produced it. She did it on her own. It sounds like nothing I've ever heard before. I listened to it, and I'm like, okay, it's not for me. I respect it, but that's all I'm going to do.
Yep, that's all.
And
I'm gonna do.
at the end of the
I'll
day,
put that in my mind and
Yeah.
then let it go. Def Engine.
Yeah, let's get
what
out
are
of
we,
me
What are we
trying to
gonna
type
get?
it.
What are we gonna give it? I'm giving it 4 out of 5 baby bottles.
Adam?
I'm going to go 4 out of 5 baby bottles. I think I agree.
Actually, can I do 4.5? I'll do 4.5.
I'm gonna drop my
I take it
phone.
back.
Yeah,
I
I'm not
take it
going
back.
above 4.
I'm
sorry,
going
4.
4.5.
Yeah.
I dropped my phone just
I
like I
loved
dropped
it.
my mic. I'm going 5 out of 5. I think it's great.
Man, 5 out of 5,
Yep,
dude.
I think it's great. I think
I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad
I
at
think
you.
when Michael picked this, and I was kind of like, okay, you want to pick that?
Thanks, man. Thanks. For
No, I was
picking
just
that one.
that was my thought. I was like, okay, you want to pick that? All right,
Great
but
pick.
Then when I dove into it, I was like, that's a great game.
That is a great game.
And the parts of me that wouldn't make it a 5 out of 5 are just me being me, thinking like, oh yeah, they should throw Sting in there. They should throw some U2. They need a
Sting would be awesome.
Can
in
I
this
get some
game,
U2
yeah.
in there?
Yeah, Gordon
Yeah.
Sumner doing some tantric stuff. You know what? That shouldn't be, because my stupid bias should make it like, I don't know who everybody in this is, but I know enough that I feel like I can be like, cool. Yeah, no, it's a 5 out of 5, and my lameness doesn't get to make it any less than that. I think it's a great game. You should pick it up. It's
Absolutely.
cheap. It's fun. If you have a PS2 kicking around,
PS2, GameCube, Xbox.
Yeah.
Get it.
Yeah, but you
Boom.
can get it on the GameCube because the
I
discs
think
are
GameCube.
tiny.
Yep. I think GameCube's. Yep.
Yeah, well, I see. For me, the controller kills it because PS2, I don't know what, I could play it easier. Maybe I don't play enough.
Because you like
GameCube.
that PlayStation, man. You like that controller.
Yeah.
I
You like the controller.
how
That's
about
what
that?
it is.
I'm
That's
used
what
to
it
it.
is
I'm
sometimes.
used to
Yeah,
it.
no, that's
I'm used to it.
not a bad
Yeah,
thing.
no, that's the funny thing about controllers in general because the GameCube's like literally my favorite controller of all time.
Oh,
But
I
it's-
get
I
so
like
it's-
it.
but it's
I
a-
like the
but it's a
GameCube
very-
controller too.
It's
I'm
a
not
very
gonna lie.
polarizing controller, though. People either love it or hate it.
Yeah.
Yep.
No,
I ain't mad at it either, though,
Yeah.
because I could see why people wouldn't like it, because that little C stick is just like, what is that damn thing? Little nubby.
Yeah, well, and the shoulder buttons, I'm thinking, are there two back there? Or no, this just is one huge freaking shoulder button. Like, I can't, yeah, made out of
I
freaking
like them,
marshmallow.
though, especially for like Madden. It was great. Your
So-
juke move, you could do like a half juke
Pro
move or a
tip.
full one. Pro tip!
You know, they actually have GameCube controllers for the Switch.
Yeah.
And I've got them for Smash. And, oh, it's like heaven. It's like going back to the good old days, you know.
Me and Deacon
And
play.
they're wireless, though. That's the thing.
Oh, me
But-
and Deacon actually play this little indie game. I can't remember the Castle Tower or Tower Fall, but you shoot arrows at each other and stuff. We actually use Wavebirds for it because it's the best way to play it, in my opinion. It's amazing. It's so fun.
Dude, the Wavebird, that's a great controller.
Yeah.
Cool. So, good game. Pick it up. That was our video game book club for this episode. We're going to have two listener picks coming up here in a second. Oh, Back of the Box. Do we have that?
Back in the box. I can pull it up here real fast.
Back of the box.
Yeah, so the Back of the Box is when we would pick this up back at the video game rental. This thing, the front has to catch us, and the back has to reel us in. What you got there, Adam?
All right. So this is a really simple back of the box, but it's almost perfect.
That's how these started to go. Go ahead.
So at the top, it has big lettering, and it says money, power, respect.
End it. Boom.
And then that's it. And then it just has a bunch of like captions with, some buzzwords and stuff. So it says cinematic story mode, over 40 street brawlers, battle to the top with over 1,500 moves, the hottest Def Jam artist in music. That's it. That's all that's on the back.
Yeah.
Def band.
I like it with the big logo. That was our video game book club, and then we will move on to our next one. We're going to do two listener picks. We have Vigilante 8 was pulled out of random. That one was, let's see, I don't have who submitted that, so if you want to send us an email. And I think Vigilante 8 was Nintendo 64, but you can also do the PS1 and the Dreamcast, actually.
Yeah, Dreamcast. That's why I played it. Was
It came in all of,
Dreamcast,
I
yeah.
know a lot of people actually played it on the 64 because there wasn't an alternative on 64 as far as.
Correct. Yeah, there was not a Twisted Metal or
Yeah, it's
something else similar.
It's
Yeah.
basically a car combat arena game, but we will talk about that. And then our other listener pick, since we're doing two this upcoming episode, this was our oldest pick that is even left. It was pick number 2, and that was Battletoads and Double Dragon, or Verse Double Dragon for the Super Nintendo.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. So those are our listener picks. And then the dad pick, it is my turn for the GameCube. I'm the only one left, I believe. And I chose Billy Hatcher
And the giant egg.
and the Giant Egg for the Nintendo GameCube. I tried to pick a GameCube exclusive. Sorry, folks. And that is one that I've been very curious about. I think some of our listeners might know about, a lot might not. So Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg for the GameCube, as well as our other two listener picks, Battletoads versus Double Dragon, and then Vigilante 8 are going to be our video game book club picks for episode 53. All right, moving on. Let's move on to our emails and reviews. We did not get to this after episode 51, so we kind of a backlog, but luckily not a lot to talk about since we didn't do it last episode. We know there was a big break in between. We apologize profusely.
Sorry.
But we wanted to get to this email, and this one's back from a while ago. I wanted to read this one to you guys. This is from John D. Hey guys, love the podcast. FYI, I typically only listen to podcasts when I'm walking the dog, 30, 40 minutes a day. Late July, just ordered some tickets to go to Retro World Expo in Hartford, Connecticut. Don't know about that one.
Nice.
That sounds like something I can get into.
Yeah,
definitely.
And so I love this because he said he decided to search quote unquote video game podcasts, which is how I found you guys.
Sweet.
Yep, that's great. We've been saying forever. That's why we picked the dumb
Basic.
generic name.
Yep.
We're basic dudes. Basic can find us.
Basic beats.
We needed all the break we can get because all of our celebrity and notoriety we had before you guys found us, living that life. George Clooney's and the Brad Pitts that always wanted to be like us. We're like, no.
No.
Anyway, I hopped right on to episode 0, and since then, you guys have been the only podcast I've listened to, and just got caught up and finished episode 50! Kudos to you. And he said, kudos to those guys that seem to binge the whole thing in 2 weeks.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I still can't believe that people do that.
I know.
That's pretty
Crazy,
cool, man.
because now we're going on, like, no joke, like that's 115 hours worth of content, which is crazy to think about, going back and listening. Kudos you guys keeping it up and bringing it this far. Congratulations. Thank you. He's a video game dad of 2 boys aged 8 and 11. Those sound like great ages to share.
Yeah, man,
hobbies.
those kids
fun
can
age.
play the games.
Yeah. Jelly about that.
No doubt.
And he says your podcast hits home on many levels. Family first, casual but informative take on all your topics, including your off-topic tangents, and tickles on all the nostalgia parts of the brain, and confirmation of the lifelong infatuation with video games is nothing to be ashamed of. Those are the things he comes away with.
I don't know. It's still probably something to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
A little bit.
To certain people.
Bit. Yeah.
Certain people will kind of side-eye you and tilt their head a little bit to you, but who cares? From the adventurous birth of Ben's son to Lexi's diagnosis and recovery, woo woo, to Adam's second adoption, to
Yay.
Michael joining the show and opening up about. This guy's giving a great synopsis.
Yeah, man, I like
of
this.
everything.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, you want to just write our intro to our iTunes? Our iTunes is just like 330 something guys talk about stuff.
Yeah.
We still need to kind of maybe update that. And Shane, he put a Y in your name. I kind of like it. To Shane starting his own business, to Ben expecting his second, and now the video game waterboarding. Oh, yeah.
Man.
Dang, that's such a great segment that we have done nothing with.
Sorry.
Yeah, but thank you for reminding us. He said your podcast has been hours and hours of fantastic video game themed feel-good family nostalgia and drama. Who can forget little Shane wetting himself while playing Ninja Turtles Arcade?
Hey, don't bring that up.
Classic.
Like I said, this guy-
Episode number 2 or 3.
I'm reading a long email, but it's a great
Man,
email.
that is a
he's
great
probably not
email.
listening. It's like
No.
This email's 3 months old. A little bummed to hear Adam is not a fan of Minecraft, but it is under.
Minecraft is terrible.
Yeah, but it's
It's
understandable as Grayson is a bit younger. I didn't get it at first either, but found it to be a great bonding game to play with kids. In
Man,
the
I
6 to
wish
8
I could
range.
I wish I could use it to bond with my kid, but I don't have the temperament for it. I play for like 10 minutes and I'm like, sorry, dude, you're on your own.
That's funny.
Yeah, I gotta go. I think there's some taxes that need doing.
And then he said, and if Shane, a pro tip, it's the open world lack of purpose that you object to, I found to be the more enjoyable part, and the achievements and trophies and the goals. Early, my first thought for the video game book club suggestion would have been Beetle Adventure Racing, a favorite of mine.
Oh, it's a great game.
Yeah, growing
Yeah,
up.
great game.
But he said he didn't know anybody else that played it. He thought it'd be perfect. But you guys have randomly talked about it here and there in later
I
episodes.
played the crap out of that game back in the day.
It's a-
Yeah, I know.
I actually got
Not a
to
bad
it.
game,
I got
man.
to it late by
when
the
you
time.
when you were an N64 owner and that's all you had.
Yeah, you found out
You
about it.
had to play some crap, you
Yeah.
know. And when you found a good game, you stuck on it for a while.
Yeah, you had
Yeah.
a hot 50 titles that you had to stick
Yeah,
to, and then
dude,
the
Beetle-
rest was just crap.
Beetle Adventure Racing was one of those games.
It was a
dude.
good one.
I love that game. There's so many games that were made back then that I wish they would remake.
Yeah.
A Beetle Adventure game.
It's still there. You could just play the OG.
Well, you can't play the OG, but man, if they were to remake one, that would be a great one to pick.
Yeah. I ended up getting into it on XPlay when they talked about it. Like, you're talking 5 years later, like, so 2003. I was like, got into it late, I guess, but way early. And then, yeah, I was like, whoa, this game's great.
Yeah.
It's the shortcuts.
It's
and the themes.
it's all the alternate tracks and shortcuts.
It's
yeah.
great.
Yep.
But anyway, so because you already know about that, he says as an alternative, he wants to submit Mercenaries for the Xbox.
Nice.
It was a game that I hooked on at the time. My first son was born,
Yeah,
and I have
dude.
fond memories of playing the game with him on my lap. So I don't know I mean, I know I've seen the box cover.
thing
Is
I
it a guy
remember-
like chewing gum or like got a cigarette in his
I mean,
mouth or something?
I think it's kind of a bro dude game. I honestly
Yeah.
never played it, but I know the developer of it, if I remember right. Basically, it's one of those developers that's known for making one really good game and then going defunct like immediately thereafter.
Yeah, it happened a lot.
But
I know they made a sequel though, Mercenaries 2 for the PS3 and
Yeah.
360, but
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it.
but no,
either.
Mercenary's supposed to be good. I've never played it, so,
Yeah. Okay,
so I'm down with
I
that.
think what I remember, third person, like shooter type of deal.
Okay.
Yeah, like third person. Yeah,
Yep,
behind the
third
back,
person
over the
behind the
shoulder.
back, over the
Yeah,
shoulder, play against your buddies.
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
I
shooting
was
stuff,
totally
blowing up
into
tanks,
that back
yeah,
then too.
Well, either way,
Awesome.
it's in the book club. It is now, or I mean, in the pool. So we will definitely put it in there. He has a question for you guys. I know you guys talk about ever playing through, about watching playthroughs on YouTube. But what is your take on esports? Do you ever watch it?
No, simple.
Yeah, that's a
no.
no. What
So,
about you?
so
Hard no.
it kind of depends on what you mean by esports, because I actually think so. There's esports where like people play fighting games versus each other, and that's kind of the biggest esport.
Fortnite stuff.
Fortnite stuff, or just fighting games
League
like
of
Street Fighter,
Legends.
yeah, League of Legends, or some of the,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. But so there's that, and I don't really watch that kind of stuff, but I sort of consider like speed running.
I don't think that's
sporty kind of like if you
I think that's
consider
like
that.
playthroughs.
If you consider that, then
Correct.
Then you'd
I
watch that.
love watching
Okay.
speed runs.
Speed
Like I can
Okay.
watch speed runs all day long. Like there's a game that I've kind of been intermittently obsessed with for the last year and a half or two, which is Celeste, or which is a really hard platformer, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like Super Meat Boy or one of those. I love watching people speed run those games. I could watch those all day long.
Okay, cool.
But,
yeah.
but yeah, that's probably the closest thing that I'm really into watching.
Do you watch any, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, no, because I mean, he even has the lowercase e and the uppercase s. It's like I feel like he means like legit.
Oh, yeah,
esports,
definitely, yeah,
Which
yeah.
there's a huge audience for that.
There
right?
is.
Oh,
I just,
definitely.
yeah, it's just,
I'm
Crazy
just not
huge
into it.
audience.
No.
Yeah, no. So the answer for us is kind of no. The stuff that we do watch is like, yeah, I agree.
Different.
Like,
Yeah.
doing playthroughs and speed runs is very interesting.
yeah, there's the YouTube channel Long Plays. I'll get on there sometimes just while I'm like working on something, and just like have a long play of somebody beating some really difficult shooter on like super hard settings, like playing in the background, just because I think it's kind of neat that people are that good at that.
Yeah. Anyways, ends up by saying thanks again for all the content. Bummer, I now have to wait just like everyone else for the new episodes to drop, but I'll be waiting nonetheless. And poor guy, he basically
man.
sent that email when we had our longest
longest,
break.
yeah.
This guy probably
there
He's
you
just sitting
go,
there,
dude.
just like
Yeah.
tap, tap,
Yeah,
tap.
but I-
like,
Exactly.
come
Sorry.
on.
Good bit.
yeah, so I officially emailed you back earlier today. Sorry about that. You guys ever want some true video game watergating? Kabuki Warriors on Xbox. Came across that gem in 2003 at a family-owned movie rental shop, an Xbox game with a $5 price tag. Should have known something was that up, but he's basically saying it's terrible. It is not good. I do remember that. So thank you for that. Very long, but we went through it email.
No, that's
Very
good.
nice.
Very good email.
Yeah, this
Thank
other one
you.
from Josh H. Good evening, gents. It's really late. Oh, this is one he didn't really want us to read on the podcast, but thank you for sending this. Basically saying like he's got caught up on the podcasting, and he basically said like this podcast, he realizes it's not for everyone, but he still thinks like we are awesome. And then he
Thank you.
says not to read this next part aloud, but don't
Thank
worry
you.
about bragging about the pickups. You guys are awesome. Your viewpoints are really good, and everything that you guys do ends up being appreciated. Yeah, and ends it kind of by saying, Ball Blazer, he hopes it gets picked soon. It is still in our pool. It will get picked, Josh. Thank you so much. And thank you for the kind words.
Thank you.
Again, he just mainly said things like, hey, get together as often as you can. We really try.
Yeah,
it is not, it's
very
literally
tough.
just scheduling families and
Yeah, it's mostly my fault.
No.
It's
just life.
Everybody.
Yeah,
It's
life
tough.
comes up. I mean, honestly,
tough.
yeah, transparency. My mom passed away
Yeah.
in between the last episode.
Yeah.
We didn't take a break. I mean, honestly, so what we recorded, and in between the recording and when it aired, that's why it's been long enough that we didn't break, because I didn't.
Yeah.
I was obviously, my brain was like, I'm going to take a few weeks off. It ended up being in a point where it didn't have a break. It wasn't, it wasn't
was our
completely
break.
unexpected, but it was something that happened, and I kind of thought I needed to take a big break, and I definitely needed to grieve. And sorry if this catches you off guard. If you're someone that's lost a parent recently, don't mean to make you have all the feels. But I think it's important, like, a lot of people are feeling a certain way because, Kobe recently passed, and you're seeing people like Shaq cry, and it's throwing a lot of people off.
Yeah.
Where they're like, whoa, honesty of feelings and things like that. I think that's always important. I think it's important to take a gut check and kind of see where you're at, see where it's been a different experience for sure.
Yeah.
I thought I'd have to
Can
talk
imagine.
about it on an episode 2 years ago when I thought it was going to happen then. So I think having our kiddos and made it something a little better to deal with. It makes you think like they're going to have to go through that same thing too. So
Yeah.
whatever you can do to make that last as old as they are is kind of the thing that I took from it. Is we can't help what happens to us, but there's that asterisk. We can make choices. We can do things
Absolutely.
that keep us as healthy as we can. So there is something to that, and there is something to living for somebody else and all that kind of jazz. So that's been kind of something to take from it. But again, sorry if it got to you, I guess, because I think that's the thing I'm taking from it is my like for the video games, and helped curate that, because she knew I liked and took care of my games, and that was always something I appreciated back, right? She was like, "Okay, I'm a single mom. I'll spend this money on your video games because you take care of them and stuff like that." So, like I said, I've been an adult a long time, so I've been out of kid mode, and I'm thankful that I didn't have to go through that when I was a kid, because that happens. When I see people who post videos who have like a death happen or something, they start giving their own stories of it's a great escapism. I will say that's true. I played a ton of Rocket League about 3 or 4 days after it happened, and it was the only time that I could like not
Get away from it and
feel
everything.
anything,
Yeah.
or something before I went to bed, because it kind of wore
Absolutely.
me out.
Yeah.
Because you have the other fun stuff to deal with of calling certain agencies and things like that to update things and all that not fun stuff. That I will say, video games are great therapy. It's great to have something like this, and it's great that we can help people, but at the end of the day, it is kind of our families first, and we try to make as many episodes as we can. But it's great to feel supported by everybody, and again, sorry if
You
I
know,
don't think there's any need for apologies.
Yeah,
Well,
sorry for our breaks. We always say it. Family first, and that's what we always put first. So
let's see this other one. This one's from Lee S. Sorry, it's been a while. Things have been crazy here. Listening to you guys, getting caught up. Son and I were listening to episode 50, and you guys picked up the Video Game Book Club suggestion, Metal Storm. I got excited about it, and he asked me about the Video Game Book Club. So I explained how it all worked, and he said, "Dad, can I pick one?" I asked him what game would he like to pick for the book club, and he picked a game that we recently beat 3 times in a row. Noah's Video Game Book Club pick is Prehistoric Isle 2 for the Neo Geo.
I love that game.
say what?
And it's got the most annoying sound effect in the history of video games.
Oh, really?
But
I've
Prehistoric
never heard
Isle
of
2,
this.
it's a good game.
Okay.
So Prehistoric Isle 2 is on the Neo Geo. Prehistoric Isle 1 was an SNK released arcade game earlier than Neo Geo.
Okay.
But the cool thing about the game is it's pre-rendered, so it's like Donkey Kong Country.
Okay.
So if you can imagine Donkey Kong Country style, like pre-rendered graphics in a shooter game set in
We might have played this
like
one time or something.
in a dinosaur land, where you're basically shooting dinosaurs. So you'll like it, Shane. That's what
Okay.
I'm trying to say. Benjamin, you'll probably like it too.
I don't know how I'm going to play this, but I'm going to figure it out.
I've got it.
Do you got it?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to borrow that sucker.
Yeah, and he goes on to say, side note, really enjoyed Shane's new handyman segment. It reminds me of a TV show I called growing up called Home Improvement. So be safe. That was Lee. So yeah, thank you. And Lee's son, Noah. Yeah, so of course, we're going to put your son's name there, Noah. Noah, shout out to you. We will put your prehistoric isle for the Neo Geo, and because you are under, let's just assume he's
the
under
interesting
10.
thing about Prehistoric Isle too, I didn't mention this,
Oh, go
based
ahead.
on true events.
No.
It actually happened.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, no
Okay.
helicopters shooting dinosaurs. No, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
Written in stone.
Segue over.
Written in stone.
So we'll definitely put that in. Thank you
Written
for
in
the
bullets.
old Metal Storm. We enjoyed that on the last episode. That was a great pick. So thank you very much for that email. And this next one's from Chris. Chris is a guy who reached out for us. He's actually part of a development, Raven Fist Studios. He saw us during Mo GameCon 2018. Yeah, I think we talked about a game that he was developing.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be like last year, and he says now it's going to be this year. So it's not necessarily but he's from Missouri. He reached out to us and said, hey, just love listening to your podcast. But it's going to be a unicorn game. That's interesting. And he is a dad of 3, and he wanted to make a game. They wanted to make a game for their kids, specifically their girls, because there are no unicorn games unless they were like lame ones that you play on your phone. And there's in-app purchases or something. So anyway,
Those are the
it's a
worst.
game coming up. It's called
In-app.
Unicorn Tales. I don't know anything about it yet. But anyway, he offers to share it. It is PC only, so that's mainly Adam.
Yeah.
Why don't you check it out? He's offering for you to check it out for free. So,
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah. So by the time we check it out, we'll actually, check it out. But thank you for sending us an email. You said,
Thank you.
also you don't have to do a shout. But anyway, if that tickles a fancy, if anyone wants to look at that, it looks like you can look at
He's listening to us.
Yeah, unicorns
There you go.
are pretty awesome in general because they're kind of this thing that's part of kid lore.
Yeah.
And my son the other day came to me and he's like, Dad, are unicorns real? And I was just like,
Absolutely.
do you think they're real? And he says, yeah. And I was like, they're real.
Absolutely, son.
Yeah, let's just let that dream live just a little bit longer.
You'll figure it out, buddy.
Another one from Charles Y. Checking in. How is everything doing? Okay. Hope things are well. Podcast amazing. Life and family certainly come first. Wanted to let you guys know your fans care about those things too. Hope your holidays went well. From Chuck. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Yes,
Thank
I know
you,
a
thank
lot
you.
of these emails as we're getting closer, kind of like, hey, are you guys dead? Hey,
We're not dead.
Yeah.
We're here.
No, we kept getting
Hi.
messages on Facebook like, hey, you guys okay?
Yeah,
You
and
know?
then of course Mike M sent us that great package that we did that we opened up. We really appreciate that. He also randomly said, hey, have you heard of Xenocrisis? If you wanted to check it out, it's a new Sega Genesis game for 2019.
I just pre-ordered it for Switch.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So
Yeah.
he said it's good.
That's like the Aliens
I'm
clone
kicking
Smash
myself-
TV, right?
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
kicking myself for not having ordered the Neo Geo version because I probably should have. But it was like $300, you know.
Oh, forget about it.
Well, the problem is like Neo Geo homebrew like that, it'll be worth $1,000. Like,
Really?
immediately after it's
That's
released.
crazy.
Neo
Yeah.
Geo people, man, they're like
It's
the
crazy.
classic car collectors.
It's
Really?
crazy.
They're like
dude.
American picker guys.
yeah.
Neo Geo people
like
are like,
Valentine's Pink Bullet or whatever that game is, like a Neo Dev Team game, like homebrew that came out a couple years ago.
Fun.
Game goes for like $2,000. You know,
I guess I'll
it's-
never be a Neo Geo collector.
Yeah, well, I have that game actually, but I have it on the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
I have the Neo Geo port to the Dreamcast. Worth something, but not nearly that much. But
but Mike also said he finished listening to the latest episode. Wanted to follow up. Yes, the Super Famicom Mario cases are vintage and new, so they are from back in the day.
sweet.
So
I
and
love that
Shane,
kind
you
of
need
stuff,
yours
man.
because we set yours aside somewhere
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
here.
Sweet.
That
Yeah,
are-
Shane, it's over there by,
Yep.
by the TV.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then last email here from John A. Asking to put Singularity for the superior Xbox 360 and also the PS3 into the randomizer. The game's 10 years old.
Hey,
Just
I
now
like that.
playing it now, and after 3 hours, I'm impressed with this game. I was playing it alone at night in my basement in Dolby Surround. Was not expecting horror elements. Interesting. It never got any attention back in the Halo, God of War, BioShock days. So if you guys would care, I think it's kind of a hidden gem. Good to work into. Oh, keep up the good work. Moving into 2020 from John. We put it in Singularity. Have you played it? Either of you
I've
played
played
it?
a little bit of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
Never heard
Also,
of it. No,
I've
never
heard
of
really
it.
good things about Singularity. Yeah, it's FPS.
It is. Yeah, I believe
Yeah,
so.
FPS that like got overlooked.
I get
yeah.
Singularity and Vanquish mixed up with each other.
Oh no, they're very
Because-
different. Oh, Vanquish remake. Did you guys know about that?
Oh, yeah. Vanquish is actually a very underappreciated game, in my opinion.
Yeah, Vanquish,
Oh,
I think, and Bayonetta are coming out on like PS4 and Switch. Weirdly enough, together in like a dual pack, the original Bayonetta, or maybe it's just PS4.
That's weird.
But anyway,
is
yeah,
weird. That's a weird
we put
combo.
Singularity in there. Yeah, those three are in. So thank you so much. Those are our emails. Now, all right, and remember, our iTunes reviews help us get seen. So good or bad, we of course love 5 stars if you feel we
Yeah.
deserve it.
5 stars.
Good
5 stars.
particularly, yeah.
5 stars.
Yeah, but you know, if we deserve it, so we read them on the air, good or bad, no matter what. So this one, again, sorry, we're playing a little catch up. This was from Zaxxon 3D. He gave a 5-star review. He said, "Great, down to earth group of dudes, dads, keep it up." He was real short and sweet. You go ahead,
Thank
take
you,
the next
thank
one
you.
there, Adam.
This one is from Kenny Ballswag. I'm not sure what that means, Kenny. But
No, it's balls wag. Why are you being all weird?
whichever.
Yeah, just kidding.
Yeah. Kenny, we're impressed. Says, love this show. As a fellow video game dad, it's awesome to have such a great podcast I can listen to about not just gaming, but everyday topics. Very relatable and nostalgic. I discovered new to me, but older games to try out. Every video game dad should give this show a listen. 3 exclamation points.
Thank you, Kenny.
Very
Thank
nice.
you.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thanks, Kenny, and your ball swag.
All right. This one's from Sean Schaller. 5 stars, but it's funny. He starts out 6 of 5 stars. Definitely recommended. You can't give 6 stars officially, so just use your imagination or squint until you see a few more stars on the screen. It's not like they do anything outrageous or extraordinary. It's just everything I want out of a gaming podcast. Casual and conversational. But still with direction and structure. A nice blend of multiple generations and relatable good people. I love that because it kind of feels like we get Grandpa out every once in a while.
Yeah.
I think he means like multiple generations of gaming, but it kind of feels like every once in a while we have like a golden show or
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
no,
We're
it's
the- we're
you
the
know,
old
kids. We
guys,
could do
yeah.
that eventually.
We're the
Start
old
breaking
guys.
out. the
maybe we
kids
keep
and
doing
stuff.
this long enough. We are going to be grandpas.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Adam.
Great. This one says, great podcast for gamers. This is from Bobo3380.
You have the best names.
I know,
over
everybody has
there.
the best names on this one.
Well, because Bobo3379 was taken. He just kept going down the list.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
you know,
it worked a
so
little bit.
Bobo says, anyone over 30 will enjoy this podcast. While listening in the car with my boys, find themselves asking if I have this game or that game and want to try these games out. The things you guys talk about. It's great to to have something to talk to them about that's not Fortnite. Amen, brother.
Yeah.
That's Steve
Yeah.
from Minnesota.
Yeah.
My son right now is, I won't let him play Fortnite because it makes him crazy.
Whoa.
And he's always like, Dad, let's play some Fortnite. Let's talk. I'm like, we're not playing Fortnite. We're not playing Minecraft. We're not playing Fortnite. He's like, no, like his world is ended. And I'm like, we have 10,000 games you can play. You just can't play those two.
I know.
I'm the complete opposite of the spectrum right now. My son, I went in the other night to the bedroom, and I knew he was playing Cuphead, and I went in there. And I
Dude,
was,
man, your son's awesome.
Yes,
like, just sit there
I-
playing Cuphead.
I'm not gonna lie, it's not on regular mode, but it's on the simple.
Yeah,
But
still.
he's killing it. Like he's on.
That's awesome.
I said that he's on level. He just rocked through 2, and now he's on the third world level thing. Like I cannot
what
believe
does
it.
simple do? What's the handicap?
It's
it
just
does?
easier. It's just
easier,
It's just
yeah.
easier.
But how much easier?
I
Not
don't
like a
know.
ton.
I'm not for sure, but I don't care.
I've only played it
the
on
way
regular mode, so I'm not sure.
Me
Okay.
too.
Yeah.
But the way I see him move and everything, amazing.
Awesome.
Like
That's
I am
good,
like
man.
dad proud moment. Like, dude, you're killing it.
Yeah, man, that's taking the high road. You know, go,
How old
go
is he
rolling
now?
on Cuphead. Yeah.
5.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to like anticipate, looking forward to, because I actually, I should have a video. I didn't mention. You remember the pickup I talked about last time? You weren't here. You probably listened to the episode. The red retro TV that arrived. I remember I said it was
God,
gonna
no,
arrive,
this is a nightmare scenario.
and
yeah.
it arrived broken. Yeah. So how I was talking about it
Not too
last time,
broken,
I'm like,
though. You're all right.
no. So
You'll be all
here's
right.
the good thing. I didn't send this to you because again, that family stuff came up, and then all my stuff kind of changed. But it arrived broken. I messaged the guy, and it stunk because he really tried to pack it well. He was not like trying to like send me something and not
Yeah,
worry about it, just
definitely.
get the money and throw it in a box. He wrote fragile all over it. The problem is, a screen face down, you should make everything flat on the bezel, and he made the padding of the size of the screen, so it was pushing against the screen. So it broke. But here's the good news: is I showed him the pictures. I was like, okay, this thing's broken. It's messed up. He sent me a big refund, and then I got to working on it. I spent like 4 or 5 hours opening the thing up, super gluing things together, and it works 100% perfectly fine.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Like that, man.
So I got it going and hooked up the Genesis Mini. And my son started playing, and he's 2, what's that? Mickey's Magical whatever thing. And I got like a video of it. I was going to show you guys.
That's awesome,
But
man.
it is
That's
up.
great.
It
Yeah.
is
That's
legit.
It is up and working. And luckily it was these plastic brackets I super glued, and the thing has a sub in it inside the dang thing, and it's got a really good speaker, but it is just a normal flat screen. And thank golly, it broke, and behind it was plastic brackets. Again,
Yeah,
I just
so it
super
wasn't-
glued back and was able to kind of get it going. And the seller was nice. He offered to, he apologized profusely. It wasn't a big mess, a hullabaloo, and I did spend hours of work putting it back together, but it looks like brand new. So best of both worlds, I guess. Like,
Where'd you end up in your kiosk? Did you put it up in your game room, or did you take it downstairs?
It's actually still downstairs because it kind of works, because it's like retro
Nice.
looking. It doesn't like look out of place because
Yeah.
I don't put my games in the middle of where people walk in. I keep it all in a room. But since that TV looks all kind of retro and nostalgic, and my house is kind of 70s ish looking because
Yeah.
it was built in that decade, and that's kind of how we got some deco stuff. It kind of
yeah,
works.
no, yours. Yeah,
So it's like
definitely.
downstairs with the little Genesis Mini, and
That's cool.
He was playing it, and he freaking loved it. And by the way, that was the first time. Genesis Mini is no joke. That thing's cool,
It's cool. Yeah, no, it's worth
I don't
it.
have one yet, so
which is crazy to me, Mr.
I know.
Genesis.
I know.
I love how it has
garage
the
sale guy.
Japanese
I got to.
versions of the games.
Yeah, I do too,
Just
yeah.
inside it, and it just you could play. And I didn't realize Japanese and PAL and like and French. It has actually like 4 different regions, but the main differences are Japanese. But even if you pick French, it'll start to say not Mega Drive. It'll have it'll still say Mega Drive, but the box art changes per region.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
It's really, really cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it works really well, and you can get it for like $50 now or less. Highly recommend the Genesis Mini. It's got a lot of good games on it. All right, so moving on, we could talk about some, pickups that we've had, huh? Some video gaming themed stuff that we've either gotten for ourselves or for our kiddos, things like that. Sales, there have been sales to be had because of these GameStops going out of business.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Okay.
do it.
I got a big box of crap here next to me. I actually brought my pickups, or tried to save them so I could talk about them. So my first pickup is from Shane. Shane was nice enough to give me this awesome 3-pack Amiibo set from Shovel Knight. And next I have one. I bought another Amiibo just because I thought this one was awesome.
It
Is it
is
Dark
awesome.
Samus?
Dark Suit Samus.
I thought about
Yes.
getting that one, and I'm not even a huge Metroid or whatever. That one and the Golden Shovel Knight.
Oh yeah, man, that Golden
thought
Shovel
about-
Knight's awesome.
Yeah, the golden
Just
I
'cause
do
Shovel
not have
Knight's
the-
awesome.
I don't have the golden shovel knight. I just have the regular shovel knight. But yeah, this Dark Suit Samus, man, this thing is cool. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
So,
it's a great looking
had
fig.
had to get it.
Now we just need another, as we say, another Metroid game.
So a rare pickup
Absolutely.
for me, Xbox game. So this is
Ooh,
a
that's
sealed.
a good one.
This is a sealed copy of a Kai Katana,
Nice.
which is
Yes.
a shooter. I have almost all the 360 shooters
Shooters.
now, spaceship shooters, shmups.
Nice.
If you,
And there's not a
if you will.
ton of them, right?
No,
No.
there's not. There's like I don't know. There's like 10, 12 of them, something like that. But some of them are kind of pricey. But I've been buying another guy's
How many
collection
shooters were
kinda
there
slowly.
on PS3, Ben?
I think it's
Two?
just one.
One.
Just one.
Yeah.
Under
Yeah,
defeat.
it's
That's
weird.
so
It's
crazy.
weird to me, yeah, that the 360 was like the console of choice for the shooters.
But
of
it
that
was only like
generation.
12 or 13.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah. Some of them are Japan only, that kind of thing.
Yep.
But this is a cool game. It's sealed. It's new.
I wonder if the Wii has more shooters than actually both of them. If you
It
really
probably
think about it,
does,
it probably
actually.
does.
Yeah, it probably does.
Yeah, I bet.
Monkey Legend or Monkey King.
This is a cool little thing. Shane, I believe you got this too. So this is
Yes.
the Sikyo Shooter
Still haven't
Stars
played it.
Alpha Collection. So I have the Japanese version of this as well that came out earlier, but this is like a cool box set with like big soundtrack in it and some lithographs and all this kind of stuff. But it's Strikers 45, Strikers 1945 2, Strikers 1945 3. All those games are awesome games.
Yeah.
You could do the vertical mode on them too.
Yeah, Dragon Blaze. You can set them up in Tate mode. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. Dragon Blaze, Soul Divide, and Zero Gunner 2. And my son and I actually played Zero Gunner 2 and Strikers 45 the other night.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Nice.
So this is cool. It's already getting some use, so I'm happy to have it.
Yeah, I need to still play mine. I haven't even opened mine yet. Going to, hopefully.
So I got a couple of cool limited runs. I haven't opened these yet, but I have...
Ben did the video on one of these.
Yeah, the limited run collector's editions of Turok 1 and Turok 2. And these are, check out Ben's video, but these are really cool because they have like metal cartridges in them. Mm-hmm. And these things are heavy.
Mm-hmm. Hold a second, let me hold one. Hold one.
Here you go. Yeah, try them. But they have kind of this these foil covers on them and stuff. Man, they are cool looking, dude.
Yeah,
those are nuts.
And
those are heavy.
The cool thing about Turok on Switch, and these are digitally available as well for cheaper. But they actually play really, really good. And the big gripe on the N64 versions was that there was so much fog that the fog kind of really limited the game as far as how far you can see and stuff. Well, because the Switch is more powerful, they actually kind of redid the games and everything looks crisper and a little bit better, but you can see way out.
You could actually see in general.
Because the cool thing about Turok was at the time, the only other like first person shooter I could think of that would move as fast as this was Doom.
Yeah.
Or Doom 2. But Turok is just such a fast game, we can cover such an amount of, ground and in a short period of time. But I don't know. I think Turok is kind of polarizing, but I'm a fan, so I'm happy to have this.
Yeah, I loved it too. But check out the YouTube channel for the unboxing. I realized there was none yet, and I had it for like a day or two, so I hopped on there. I don't know how many views.
You got like 2 dislikes instantly. Somebody doesn't like limited run games.
No, it's probably me because they like just people talking. The first 10 seconds I talk about the podcast or something that makes people mad.
I'm going with
whatever. YouTube's an angry place.
I know. That's why we don't hang out there. We're not cool.
So
we know
angry,
we're not cool for
those
YouTube.
people.
Yeah, we don't even mess with it.
So this is the collector's edition of Ultra Core.
What is that?
Ooh.
So this is like a run and gun.
Oh, okay.
The run and gun shooter.
Yeah. Haven't really played it yet because it's still sealed, but
almost like
looks really cool.
Yeah,
it looks like it's like Turrican, I think. Or
exactly. That
Contra,
right there,
that
nailed it.
stuff.
Yep.
Sweet.
This is a little pile of Switch games I have here. There's Wonder Song, Mercenary Wings, Battle Princess Madeline, right here, and a bunch of cards that I'm dropping everywhere.
You better use the protective sleeve things I gave you earlier.
And this is another limited run distributed game, but not a limited run game, and that's Jumanji.
It's funny. That is,
Did you pick that up?
No.
That seems like something like right up your alley.
Oh,
man.
really?
Yeah.
I don't do big boxes anymore. I don't have the room.
Okay.
What I was wanting to say is that Jumanji it's the new game based on the movie, right? Mm-hmm. Right.
Correct.
So, something that's happened because we always talk about deals. Redbox is going out of the video game business, and if you've heard, a bunch of Redbox games are like super cheap. Any games that are left, so you can get Crash Bandicoot for Switch or PS4 for $10 right now. Mm-hmm. Jumanji, I passed up, but it was $9.99 disc only, so you have to deal with that. But you can like complete it and other things. Switch is probably the best way to go. But anyway, check out your Redbox if you live in a rural area because they are clearancing out all their games. And I don't even know if you can rent them anymore, but you could definitely buy them. But you can buy all the things in there, and so you can get like, $60 Switch games for like $28, $30, something like that if you're into that. Anyway, but all that was left was like the new Jumanji game for PS4 for $10, and even still, I'm like, oh, that'd be probably. I'll skip it. I don't know. I don't know if it's good. But that. So
I think it's god awful. But
you played it?
No, I just heard.
Oh, you've heard?
I've heard a few people say that.
Based on movie, they don't make too many of those. Anything
just
else
Friday
there, Adam?
Friday the 13th was the greatest based off movie.
I got I got a small stash of Saturn games in the other day and stuff, but they're all Japanese. But that's the big bulk of it.
Okay. I did have some pickups myself. So Vintage Stock had a sale recently where it was anything $20 or $25 buy one get one, and I kept thinking like, oh yeah, it has to be two items, $20, but one could be 30 and one could be 20. You always get that 21 off or whatever.
Yeah.
So again, retail therapy. I did a little of that because obviously I had a little time, and part of the grieving process is kind of like doing things that make you fun. So I didn't spend a lot of money, but I did some retail therapy. I picked up a Super Mario Brothers 3 Power A Switch controller. And those normally go for, I think, $50 because the other Switch one goes for, what, $70?
Yeah.
But Vintage Stock kind of slipped on the price. They had it for $20, and it was, like, brand new and looked great. Didn't
I
need
didn't
a
even
dongle.
know that Power A made a wireless. That's cool, man.
Yeah, they do.
Because they
And
do
it
a decent
was
job on their
reviewed by
controllers.
your buddy, 8-Bit Eric. He reviewed this exact one. Because when I looked at...
My buddy.
Well, when I looked at, like, reviews, he popped up. And,
Oh, really?
Anyway, but it ended up being
Okay.
$10.
Okay.
And then also they had this... They've had this there for so long. It is a Japanese toy of the Mario Maker.
Uh-huh.
But it's like a really detailed one and really tall.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's probably, I don't know, 16 inches tall or something like that. They have always had it there for like $25. And
Is that the one over in Belton? You get that over in Belton?
Yep, I got that.
Yeah,
from the
I've
Beltland.
seen that. And I
it's
like
been
that.
up there
That's
forever.
cool.
Well,
Yep.
Obviously he was 25, and I asked the guy, he made it 20 or whatever because
Uh-huh.
it's been up there forever. And then I used the coupon, so it was $10.
Nice.
I'll take it.
Heck yeah, dude.
Fortnite,
cool.
I also picked up. That's my only collector-ish pickup, and I used one of those coupons you gave me, the 25%
Oh yeah,
off.
20. Yeah. Dumpster dive right
Yep,
there. Yep.
Yeah. So Fortnite for the PS4. Again, this is the collector in me. When it originally came out, it was not a free-to-play game because it took about 3 months for it to pick up Steam.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, they got rid of the disc, and now it's all... So the original Fortnite disc for PS4 and the case is really hard to find. At one point, it was like $120 game.
Uh-huh.
It is still a $70 game. I looked at it about a week ago. So they had it there for $50, and with the 25% off,
Yeah.
and paying $40 or something for it.
Yep.
So that was...
You can only imagine that thing's gonna grow in future. Like that's a hold on to that sucker.
Yeah,
hold on. To
I
that
never
sucker.
thought I would pick it up because I'd never want to. But anyway,
yeah. I get you.
Headlander for the PS4 is a limited run game that I picked up. That's an Adult Swim game made by the guys who did Psychonauts as well.
I actually need that game.
Yeah, it was during.
It's a Metroidvania.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and it is a really cool concept because it's kind of a sci-fi take of kind of like this. You know, in the future, all you are like frozen heads, and your heads basically go onto bodies, and you can like do certain puzzles by like floating on different bodies and
That's
things like that. But
crazy.
it's a 2D, a really cool premise. Picked up a couple 3DS games because they were really cheap. Tekken 3D for the 3DS, since I try to get those. Like Pinball Hall of Fame was like $2. Also. Picked up Little Nicky for the Game Boy Color. I don't usually pick up Game Boy Color games, but I heard about this one because it's kind of randomly
That's weird.
an
Yeah,
adult
yeah.
theme. There's some adult themes to this game, and it's a 2D size. It's got a lot of adult humor and adult concepts.
A little bit of Larry in it.
Yeah,
a little
and
bit Lucy
the
Larry?
game is terrible. The movie is terrible, but the game isn't bad. Also,
weird.
yeah. There was two
Love it.
Mortal Kombat games that came out during the PS2 and Xbox generation that often are overlooked. That's Mortal Kombat Unchained.
Shaolin Monks? Or
And
Oh
no,
man, I had that.
and Mortal Kombat Armageddon.
Armageddon, yeah.
The reason I point those out is not because of the games, it's because of the extra bonuses that are on the games. If you flip them over, there is Mortal Kombat Armageddon. There's Mortal Kombat Chess. It's called Combat Chess. So it's basically like that old school
Yeah.
where if you I forget the chess game on the old PC where you can like you battle it's like battle chess or something.
Yeah.
And they end up
There's
like
a Star Wars chest that's like that through the animation.
Yep.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So
for Sega CD, right?
Yep, Sega
Yep.
CD.
yeah, so it's a Mortal Kombat chess game that's like a bonus. So flip over those old Mortal Kombat games and see if they have it. And the other one, Mortal Kombat Unchained, actually has a kart racer on the back, and it's called like Mortal Kombat or Car Combat or something with a K. And it's there's 4 or 5 levels, and it's a Mario Kart clone. And it's a full like game. That's
I had
just,
both those games. I never knew that.
yeah,
awesome.
Flip them over.
Awesome.
So check them out. That's kind of a weird little pro tip where
Pro tip.
this is before DLC and all this stuff where you wouldn't. It's on the disc. There's like random little mini games, but it's called Mortal Car Combat, and that's why I picked them up.
Never knew that. Awesome. Hell
It's
yeah.
funny how Mortal Kombat has done that. I remember, I think it's Mortal Kombat, maybe it was Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 for like PlayStation. During one of the load screens, you could play like Galaga or something like that. And I remember back in the day thinking, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I can play this rudimentary spaceship shooter while my game loads.
Yeah.
I love that.
But I mean, it's just those little tiny things like that, you know.
Tekken had that kind of deal when it
Yeah.
was loading screen. They had a Galaga on there. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that.
Game within a game. So
Yep.
the last little parts of my pickups were the GameStop that's closing had systems, and it was discounting certain systems more than others. It had a point where the consoles ended up being not for like 45% off or something like that, which is kind of crazy because they had Switch Lites there, and I wasn't planning on picking up a Switch Lite. It was $110. So I picked up a couple of those,
Oh, man.
and then also the 2DS for my
man.
son.
Boy.
The 2DS has this like brick version of it.
Yeah.
That's newer, that is meant
Flatter.
for kids because of the whole scare.
Yeah, the thing is
perfect.
freaking indestructible too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've
perfect
got
for
one.
a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's
they,
like the Wii U pad, but even stronger.
yeah, they came out with them because of the whole scary about the 3D. They had to limit people thought like the perception of them giving kids headaches and ruining kids' eyes and things like that. When they updated them, they still never got away from that. And so the young kid audience, they really didn't get with the 2DS since the old 2DS, I guess, or
Yeah.
whatever. Or since the original DS. So the 2DS came out and got rid of the 3D function completely. So this one has Super Mario Brothers 2 boxed in it. And it's supposed to be, I believe, $80 is what the MSRP now is, which
it's
is
80, I think it's 89 or something like that.
yeah, which is actually still a really good deal. Well, this was so discounted, it ended up being $32. So of course I had to pick it up for Sebastian, even if you can't play it for another couple years.
Yeah, no, man, those things you can use it for a doorstop even.
Yeah,
they're great.
And then also another thing that happened now that we know that these GameStops are going to go out of business, when they reach a certain week, they basically had any game that was like $30 or less at them or something.
I think
right?
it was
20
pre-owned games that were I think $29.99 or less.
were $5 for $1.
$5 for $1.
So I went after most of it got cleaned out, but I picked up like Just
Wow.
Cause 3. They just had like 4 of them. So
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, $1. And then also
Take 'em.
I went
Yeah.
through some Wii games, and they had a couple gems of Wii games. Like I said, well, I mean, like that Williams pinball one. So it ended up being $1. But they
Bet
had
all day.
for Wii U, the Barbie game. They had a bunch of those. So I grabbed those disc only, but I didn't care for $1.
Yeah, some of those are
man.
worth some money actually.
Yeah,
One of the Barbie
$1.
games is pretty rare. I can't remember which one it is
Well,
though.
what stinks, what's terrible, I still have my Elite Pro, which they dissolved, but they gave the extra trade-in bonus. So all I had to do was just go to another, because again, now when that GameStop is closing, initially I'm like, well, you're selling from its own company, but once it goes liquidation, it goes into their liquidation, like it's a separate holding business where
Yeah.
GameStop is not associated with the closing of the store anymore.
Yeah.
Like even how the employees get paid, it's not officially through GameStop. So if you are selling a game from a store that's closing to a GameStop that's supposedly still thriving, everybody's on the up and up, and they don't care because that's what the games that they want. It doesn't, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it doesn't really matter. You can even tell the manager, I got this from one that's closing, and they don't flag your account if it's from a previous, because it's technically considered
so
a
you get
different
to do
store.
multiples.
Yeah, because the whole multiple thing they got messed up on was when you'd have a sale and have a discount, and then you would you'd be taking from one company and giving to the same company. Now it's like, anyway, just so you know, so those people that really try to maximize their buck,
Set up
I just
pro
bought a
tip.
bunch of games for $1 and then resold some of them for about $6 and
Yeah.
trade in. So
Bet.
anyway,
Yeah, and I didn't mention those with the pickups because they're over in my house, but I actually got 5 games for $5 there too. I'm trying to remember what they were. One of them was an Architect Simulator or whatever that's called.
yeah,
Another one was Dying Light.
but for $1.
Yeah, I'm trying
Fuck,
to.
man, you can't beat $1.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which ones.
That's
which,
yard sale
which,
prices
Which
right
ones
there,
they all
baby.
were.
Ooh.
One of them was a PSVR game, and I never can remember the name. It starts with a Q.
Oh, Core Factory.
Yeah,
Core.
that. I got that for $1.
That's crazy.
And I'm blanking on the other ones. Oh, Watch Dogs was one of them, and what was the fifth one? I think the fifth one actually was a sports game, but I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah.
But,
Point is like,
Yeah.
this is, we were talking about this before we started to air, is, these GameStops are going to close, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities for a lot of people to get a bunch of games for cheap.
Yeah,
Because
for sure.
2 of them closed here, and we have, 8 in the area at
yeah,
least?
8 or 10, yeah.
So when they all start going out of business, and I'm sorry to say, not to jinx anything, I'm not jinxing anything. If you look at what's going on right now with their stock and their sales, like, I don't see any way that they are going to stay in business, especially now. The consoles are
There's no
still
way.
10 months away. The new console's coming out. That's 10 months of them losing millions and millions of dollars hand over fist.
They don't even make money off new consoles. There's low profit margin off of that, so it doesn't even matter.
Cyberpunk was a big game that was supposed to come out.
Yep.
I bet the people working at GameStop were like, "Oh my gosh!" Hit their head when both Avengers and Cyberpunk, games that would have been multi-million-dollar
They might have did
sellers.
it on purpose. That just cut them out.
No, they don't delay games to kill a company. But I'm just
Hey, digital's coming.
no. They can care
Boom.
less. They still make their sales either
Eh.
way. They're not gonna. No one's.
You know
gonna,
that profit margin's better on digital, though.
Yeah, the writing's on the wall, I think, for GameStop.
Yeah, it's just GameStop's
definitely,
been in trouble
definitely.
for a while, but
Absolutely.
I don't see them lasting through the end of the year, which is
Nah, I
crazy.
I
think
think
it's
they'll
in it.
last another year or two.
I mean, their stock dropped 26% in one quarter. I'm sorry, their sales dropped 26%. Even Blockbuster at its worst was at 20%, and Toys R Us, their last holiday season before they committed bankruptcy, was 4% loss. It's unprecedented how much money they lost this last
Yeah,
quarter.
no,
it's crazy.
They're in trouble.
They're in huge
Oh,
trouble.
definitely. I'm
So
not saying they're sticking around. I'm saying another year or two, they'll be gone.
I think I think what I'm saying is, if you're waiting for games and holding out for systems, something like that, there's going to be an influx of a lot of sales and opportunities when they all go. I don't think they're going to be able to cut out 10% every 3-4 months. I think a bunch of stores are going to close.
You're really going to be able
soon.
to tell is when you go in this store and you try to pre-order something, and they're like, you have to do it online. You can't do
Yeah.
it in each individual store.
Yeah, I mean, if it does...
Actually, they already do that because
if it
I've
does,
done that a
if
million
it does
times.
continue to exist in any capacity in the future, it's going to be purely as an online entity. I mean, I think that's
Yeah,
where it'll go. But
absolutely.
Like when
yeah.
Blockbuster tried to do streaming.
Yeah,
Do you remember
yeah,
that?
for
They had a
like
streaming
they
service.
They had a
did.
streaming service.
They
Oh,
had
boy.
they tried to do like Netflix. They did where
Yep.
they would send you the DVDs in the mail. Like Netflix used to do back in the day.
Feels like it lasted about 2 weeks.
it
That
did.
company.
It was there and gone.
Well, they
Yeah.
also had red boxes too. Well, like red box companies. Do you remember that? They had them in Quick Trips for
Oh,
like
and
about.
it was like a Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. They
Yeah.
had them in there for like 6 months. I don't even know. It didn't last long.
And I'm not a GameStop hater. I know a lot
No,
of people
I like
are,
GameStop,
but,
actually.
But I just
You'll find out why, people.
I just don't see them sticking around for too much longer.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. There's going to be a lot of opportunities to get deals and sales. There's just a lot of GameStops out there, and a lot of games, obviously. But geez, yeah, and you could buy all their things. I bought a system tester. Showed you guys that for $5, and I bought this stand that I thought would be interesting for us in the future. But yeah, games are going to be cheap, really cheap coming up.
Speaking of,
Oh no! Hold
no,
a second.
oh,
I
wait.
got some pickups.
I'm not going past you. Sorry.
Yes,
Sorry.
I got some pickups.
Take it back.
I don't have many. Actually, my pickups, unfortunately, dumpster diving. I do that occasionally, especially during winter time because I find it the best because it's not hot.
It's warm in there, dude.
Yeah. Well, so this last one, I went for like a solid 2 weeks straight, I would say, before I hit up the supply house, before I go to work and everything. Actually went in there and found a bunch of promo posters, found about 6 to 8 brand new like Pokemon Shield and Sword banners. Really cool, like pieces, still in the plastic, everything brand new.
Everybody likes that Pokemon stuff.
Pokemon stuff. Probably found about 20 Pokemon stuff. I mean, posters, great shape. They just left them in the box. They didn't use them, threw them in there. But the best pickup I had, I probably got about 100 posters in really good shape. Like, I don't know what, it was a really weird deal. I think I picked the greatest time ever to jump in a dumpster because they just threw out about 100 posters that are just in amazing shape.
Awesome.
It's still in the boxes. Yeah, it was great. But I found a receipt or like a little envelope, and it actually had $50 in it. I'm not kidding you, people.
Yeah.
$50. And it said overage ? And I think somebody like at GameStop must have had an overage, and they just said, "I'll wait till the manager checks this out." And they just never checked it out and left it in their little drawer. And they just, I guess what they do is just throw away their drawer, because you always find paper clips and stuff like that when you do that.
You do think, though, that they didn't just throw away the money on purpose, right? Or were
Purpose, and then
ordered
coming to pick it up later, maybe?
No, I actually just feel like the stuff they throw away sometimes is weird and ridiculous. I just, not to hate on anybody, but we've all been to a GameStop and you see the employees, and I really feel like they would tell an employee to throw away $50, and I would think that some employee would throw away $50.
Maybe it was something to do with like a gift card, and they had to charge them. I don't know.
Throwing away $50, that's crazy.
But then also, I don't know if I mentioned this in prior podcasts, but the Pokemon Snap kiosk.
Oh yes.
Did I mention this?
This was a dual pickup. No, you have not
Yes,
mentioned
dual
Well,
this.
you
pickup.
haven't. You would have had to pick it up in October. So anything
Yes,
you've gotten
it was.
since then.
It was a long time ago, so I haven't had many pickups. I mean, there's a little bit here and there, but nothing sort of.
Nah, this is a pretty
mentioning.
big pickup.
This
Yeah.
one is an awesome pickup.
Yeah.
Adam sent me a message through Facebook saying, "Hey, there's some kiosk up here," and I messaged the guy and let me just sort of know what was going on with the kiosk and everything. And so I messaged the guy, and I got 2 Pokemon Snap kiosk.
Yeah.
They're missing the front artwork and everything, but they are super awesome. Me and Lexi.
So for those that don't know what a Pokemon kiosk and how special it is, describe a little bit.
Pokemon kiosk is pretty much a kiosk that was in Blockbuster.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's Pokemon Snap kiosk, so that you would actually take the pictures off the... you take your... What was it? Your
Memory
game...
card.
Yeah, you take a game pack.
You would take your game pack in, because you could actually save it on your game pack, and you take your game pack in there, and you could... The pictures that you have saved on there, that you could print them off of there. So if you took a good picture, you'd want to print it off, and they would charge you a small amount for it. But really freaking cool. They're awesome looking, and
Yeah, this guy
they're
had,
great.
This guy
man.
had 2
Like,
of them, and it was sort of an interesting thing because
it was really weird.
you know, Shane and I were kind of texting this guy, and he's
Yeah.
like, well, I think I'm selling them too cheap, and I think you guys might be resellers, and so I'm worried because I want them to go to a good home, and I kept telling him, like, dude, I collect stuff. I barely ever sell anything. We're not resellers. We're not just going to flip these.
Yeah.
You know.
Can you say how much you got them for? Because I didn't know.
I ended up getting both of them for $400.
That's great.
Yeah.
It was
That is
400,
great.
correct?
Yeah, I
right?
think it
That
was
was
400.
400. Yeah, it was
Did
400.
I paid you for mine, right?
No, you didn't.
Have I
Do you
not?
still want yours?
Yeah.
Perfect. I'll bring it over tomorrow.
Yeah,
Because I have
yeah.
2 of them in my
You don't need to
basement.
bring it. You don't need to bring it tomorrow. But I mean, unless you want to keep both of them.
No.
But,
I definitely don't.
They don't
I-
talk
yeah,
to
I
each
do.
other or anything, right? There's no
Yeah.
point of having 2.
No, there's no. Yeah, there's no point in having 2 of
Well,
them.
the
My wife
idea was
could
we got
attest
2
to
of them
that.
because Shane's the kiosk collector. I said just take both of them home with you, and then just make sure you get the best one out of the pair. You know,
Yep.
the one that's the most complete. And, so
And
on.
actually, me and Lexi actually, what was it, about a week ago, we actually hooked them up, played them. Amazing. It's just a great little station, man.
So they're
especially for Pokemon Snap, it's like the most amazing little thing. It doesn't have the printer paper. It doesn't have like the, what else is it missing? Printer paper. It doesn't have the front artwork
they're
or the
missing a
side
little bit
artwork.
of the artwork. Yeah,
Yeah, they're missing the artwork, which
but it's all
sucks.
there. I mean, they're all there otherwise.
But it is still amazing.
I remember they were
amazing.
big and blue, like rectangle.
Yeah, they're very rectangular looking, and they have like a stand with like 4 little posts on them.
Yeah.
And they're squared off on the bottom. I don't know.
And
but
so the whole point was to use your pictures and then be able to print them, which is
Yep.
so funny because printing and printers and stuff was still kind of a thing.
Yeah, then.
where
It-
it's like
that was a
really
weird
So you
transit-
brought
yeah.
it all in, and then you print them out on their paper. But does it matter? Is the paper like specific?
Yes.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's all like proprietary
But
stuff.
both
yeah.
of the kiosks actually have everything on the inside guts, so it's
So you have
actually,
a printer in there, just no paper.
No,
Interesting.
Yep, I have everything but the
I
things
think,
that you need to
correct
make
me
it
if I'm
happen.
wrong, but I think it used that thermal paper, didn't it? Like it was black and white printouts on that thermal paper, kind of like a Game Boy camera or something similar.
thought it was
No,
color
it's color.
Was it
it's
color
color.
paper?
Yeah, it's color. Yeah.
So I'm thinking, like, there must be some way to get that going.
Yeah, no, you could find them on eBay. The printer paper isn't the hard thing to find.
The ink or
The
cartridges.
ink, yes.
That's interesting. They would have had to have people, but you think that they would have to
The
send
other
people
thing-
out to refill that crap all the time.
And the weird thing is, the other thing hard to find is not the key, but the keychain. The thing that hangs off of it is really big. It says Pokemon Snap, and it's really cool, like little like plastic looking thing.
For not a Pokemon guy, you seem to remember all that very well.
Pokemon Snap
I know,
is the best.
and that's what that's why I really wanted it,
I would
because
get
when I
burned
used to
for
go
saying
into
this, but Pokemon Snap is the best Pokemon game. Period.
exactly
It is.
That's-
It is the best. It is the
I
most fun
like
Pokemon game there is.
It's
I
probably
like
because
Pokemon
you
Snap.
could.
They
fill-
should make that
you-
on Switch.
You could make it like not a Pokemon game. That's why you guys probably like it.
Yeah,
Because
it
it has
is.
nothing
It's
to
so-
do with Pokemon.
it's because
You could
Pokemon-
call it like Animal Finder
It's because
game.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm too old for Pokemon, and no offense to any of the younger listeners, I'm not a big Pokemon fan.
Yeah.
Pokemon Snap, pretty cool. I like it.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
They should
funny.
make that on the Switch, just by the way.
That's funny.
But yeah.
Cool. It's a very awesome pickup.
Yeah, no. I'm really happy to have those in my collection. So yeah.
Cool. Sweet.
I think that's all we got, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Moving on.
So some new news about these new consoles coming up. Why don't we start with the dark horse, the small one? We've talked about it before. Tommy T, friend
Tommy?
of the show.
Tommy,
The Intellivision
send me that Ferrari, buddy.
Amico came out with something like a early pre-order. Tell me about it, guys.
Yeah, so Shane and I actually didn't realize this was going to happen, but they started announcing they
didn't
were going to
either.
do a Founders Edition pre-order of the Amico, and so it's a version of the Amico that's like got wood grain paneling.
Yep.
And I'm trying to remember all the specifics of it, but wood grain paneling comes with the game. It's it's actually autographed by Tommy Tallarico.
Go and the developers and everything.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
With the poster.
Yeah,
Signed
and-
by all of them.
Yeah, so it's got kind of some stuff that goes with it. But they released a pre-order the other day for it. Actually, what was it, the day before yesterday?
Yeah.
And it sold out within a few hours. They were doing 2,600 copies of the Founders Edition. So and they sold out of them in, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours, something like
That's
that.
good. It's probably a good barometer of need.
Very much
I
so,
didn't.
yeah.
You guys got it. I would have got. I remember I was looking through it and I was like, "Oh, sold out." And it was funny. I wasn't disappointed. I was more kind of happy. I'm like, "Oh, good. That probably
Yeah,
made Tommy
that's
T
what I
feel
always
pretty good." So they are going to remake. Just quickly, just if you didn't get this and you were like, "Crud." You can still get the same
Yep.
version. You just don't get all the little perks and all the extras. Really,
Yeah.
that's
They'll make
the big
different
difference.
versions of it also,
released,
too.
and these things are on YouTube, but they've released actual gameplay footage and stuff from some
Yep.
of the games, and they're all the games currently are just basically modern remakes of these simple, Intellivision games. So if you like that kind of stuff, then cool. If not, then it may not be for you. But
Yeah, definitely.
But the thing that's the most impressive to me about the games is, so far at least, the games that they released, the soundtracks are so
Amazing.
cool.
I know, man.
Like
They're
they just have this great 80s retro wave kind of synth wave stuff going
Yeah.
on. And I'm like, man, I'll play that game just so that I can listen to that horrible, retro wave stuff, because I love that crap.
Definitely, man.
But in any respect, it's pre-ordered. I was pretty happy to be able to get it. And I think it's cool. I don't know if Amico's going to make it or not. But
I don't know
but
either.
it's fun. I think it's simple. It's something that is going to be really easy to play with kids, because it's literally a controller with a dial on it.
Yeah. I'm just curious about it. Some people call it a gimmick and everything, and I'm very curious on what it'd be. I like gimmick things on video games. If this thing comes out and it has 20 to 30 good games and I paid that much, I'm fine with it. As long as they're good games, I'm fine with that. I own a Virtual Boy, and that thing, how many good games has it got on there?
That's got like 4 or 5.
Exactly. How do you sell that thing? It's not good.
Yeah,
You know.
but
So this I don't know. I'm very intrigued by it, and I'm glad I don't ever pre-order anything, and I just see it. You know, I think
it'll be
It's
fun.
perfect for the kids and us to
it'll
play.
be fun. The
It's
kids
going to be
will like it.
awesome.
So it comes out in October this year. This was just one of the first pre-order things available. There's still going to be massive pre-orders for. He said, he's going to have one that's like Ferrari red, things like that. So many opportunities to get this.
Tron style one.
Yeah. So, and he's said before, I mean, the normal price point would be right at about $200.
Yeah,
and
supposedly around 200.
Yeah. So, I think, just like with anything, like how Arcade 1-Up kind of has collector versions and things like that. You still have opportunity. It's another console coming out this year. So, and hopefully we can see a little bit of it at E3 if we're able to go to that. That's the other thing that we're hopefully counting on if we can go to that.
We're trying.
We'll see.
Hopefully.
And then the other thing is that Polymega announced beta testing units.
Oh, yeah. That's the other thing we had to talk about.
I've applied for a beta testing unit, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Haven't heard anything back.
I'm piggybacking off of this. So I'm doing a trade with Adam. I'm trading games to be able to get my Polymega. So he pre-ordered 2 of them.
Yeah. So what we did,
So,
we each had one pre-ordered.
So I couldn't get in on the beta testing. So I'm hoping he gets his.
Yeah.
And
So
then
we tried
I'll
to
just come over like
play
a child
I
and
tried to play
it.
up the Video Game Dads podcast clout.
Yeah, trying to get that clout.
I'm trying to get that clout going so I can get myself a beta unit.
Oh man, I ain't mad at you. I hope you do. Man.
Yeah,
I hope we get it.
Yeah, if we get a beta unit, that'll be cool.
Super excited, man.
But
they announced it's supposed to be coming out, I guess, next month.
Well, they were saying it was going to ship in February, and they haven't announced that it's not shipping in February. But the fact that they're sending out beta units like here in the next couple of weeks. Man. I'm betting it's getting delayed a couple of months.
Oh my god!
But so that's
this thing has been a nightmare.
That's kind of the Polymega news, and then so we'll see. Maybe it'll be a great thing. Maybe it'll be horrible.
Yeah,
I'm kind of hoping.
Don't
great.
buy any of these things on our word. Just we're excited about them.
We're risking our own money on these things, but there's that, and then there's been kind of little snippets of news about the next generation, PS5, Xbox consoles. I think probably the most significant of which is the Xbox, the new Xbox named the Xbox Series X. A real interesting announcement, I thought, last week or week before last came out, and it said that there were not going to be any exclusive games for the system. Every game that they're making for the system also is going to have an Xbox One version,
or PC,
or
PC, or PC version. And I mean, I don't know what everybody else's feelings are on this. We've not talked about this before, but I think it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But I've heard people contradicting that intermittently online.
It's a weird
and so
deal.
forth. So
yeah, I think for me, I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised by it, but I still think it's stupid.
Yeah.
But early on is when you really want to pump those units out. And I don't know, not having a killer app like a new Halo or something like that only plays on that piece of hardware, I just don't see how that benefits them long term.
Well, in what I've heard, they're supposed to have a Halo with it, but the only reason it's not exclusive because it's coming to PC, correct? Is that the thing?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they've gotten that specific about it, but even so, the fact that it's just not exclusive, I think is going to be a big harm. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe not. Maybe
not. I don't
know. The folks off at their marketing offices and that kind of stuff know what they're doing.
I think the biggest thing, I think they're trying to sell a service.
They are.
They're definitely trying to sell a service. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, Xbox Game Pass and all that kind of stuff. It's very much a, you buy it and this is just the upgrade that you get to keep the service running longer, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing I worry about for the Xbox brand just in general is there's something to be said about cheapening your brand. Okay.
Definitely.
And so I think that one of the
Absolutely.
reasons things like Disney have been around for so long and done as well as they have for so long is because they do limited releases on their movies. It's going back in the vault, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But they create their own rarity that keeps the value of their own content up. Nintendo has been fantastic at that over the years. And it's not consumer friendly, and I'm not arguing that it is.
Yeah.
But it has kept their brands
Yeah, definitely.
profitable. You know what I'm
Definitely.
saying? You create scarcity. You only do certain number of print runs. You try to make for a concurrent demand.
It's a weird fine line that
It
you have
is.
to like toggle through.
It's this
so
fine
weird.
line between creating scarcity and creating too much.
Yep.
And I just worry that Xbox is running the line of.
Definitely.
I think this is.
I'm with you on
I
that.
think this is one of the things.
That's
that
what I said at the beginning. Definitely.
Yeah,
Man.
it's one of
You
the things I
nailed
think Sega did a little bit to hurt themselves. Is they in a lot of ways, a lot of their franchises, they turned them into these easy to come by, cheap commodities in
Yep.
some ways. And I'm taking Xbox aside. I want the Xbox to do well, but I just don't want to see them cheapen their brand and make it and water it down where people don't want to fork over
Yep.
the money for their new thing, and
Yeah.
that's what I worry about.
Yeah.
I almost feel like the Xbox would have been better as almost like this how the Stadia is. Like if they would have just sell that service to like not even having a console, just selling a service, they would have been better
Well,
off than what they are
The funny thing about
now.
it is the Xbox One, they talked about that Stadia type stuff and the streaming.
Yeah,
a
and they
lot
got
more
backlash on
with,
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with Xbox One than
But
they
that's
had.
the future, really.
Well,
I
correct,
mean-
but they talk about a lot more the last generation than they have with Xbox Series X.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to see where it goes. I mean,
Yeah.
I think. As an aside, I think the new tower is ugly too. But
I love it.
But
I
I'm
love
in
it.
I'm in the minority. A lot of
I
people
like
love
this
it.
stupid looking
I'm
box
just like,
thing.
what? It's like looks like you can take some saltines out of it.
I'm just
you know?
curious on what PS5 is going to look like. They're just going to add another stack to make a Big Mac or what?
Well, all the prototype pictures that I've seen,
I know those things are crazy. I sort of like.
I think it's
like
ugly.
it.
I
like it.
Honestly, if they just made the PS5 look exactly like the PS4,
Yeah.
and everybody was knocking like the PS5 logo, oh, it's just it's so
Same.
stupid. It looks
Yeah.
just the same. I'm like, who cares? What did you expect?
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't going to be like, what did you want? Lightning bolts? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's PS5. Of course, it's going to say PS5. That's what it is.
Yeah. If it
You
ain't
know.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I ain't mad at
The,
that.
the new Xbox.
Till the king gets knocked off, knock him off.
The
you
new
know?
Xbox,
Shoot.
the issue with the styling is when we have these things called entertainment centers. That kind of thing doesn't fit inside an entertainment center. If it's on top of an entertainment center, the other problem is dust. It's open on top. So I do think part of it is a little bit like we really want to move away from the console business. Microsoft, as you guys were saying, were like, you don't want to hurt the brand. I feel like the first time Microsoft
They're
made their
confused.
console,
They're very confused.
they were Wild West. They talked Bill Gates into it. We can do this. They made the best console of that generation. Just talking hardware wise, it didn't sell well. The 360 won over the bros. It basically was like, hey, the console to get. It came out early. They had the design flaw. It cost them over $1 billion.
That's the reason they lost is because ended up losing because of that.
My point I'm trying to make is the first Xbox failed.
Yeah.
The second Xbox monetarily they
Should've
lost
won.
over $1 billion because of that mistake about trying to make a sleek design that caused it to overheat. Then you have the Xbox One that also they've technically just continued to fail. This new system, I'm surprised they're even making it. That's why this whole idea of them, like, I almost feel like they really want to get out of the console business. I'm so surprised they even made an Xbox Series X. If you really look back and just look at the big strokes, yes, they've made great games. The legacy of like Disney to me isn't Xbox and Microsoft. I feel like I love the systems, but I feel like this is definitely their last hurrah. They're not going to make any more games. I just that's my take on it. That was my thing that I was like trying to say is like I think they're going to fail. The whole thing to me is really weird.
Yeah, I just don't understand how they
it
don't know
seems-
what they're
seems very-
doing. Like literally, they're trying to sell a service. That's their biggest thing. Then why have a big giant PC looking thing?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I
don't need that.
I'm just trying to figure out who it's made for because, and this goes back to my other point is because it doesn't have the exclusivity. Let's say the thing launches at $500, $600. I can buy a pretty woofing, nice gaming PC tower for about that amount of money or slightly more. That I could do a bunch of
But
other
the
stuff
specs
with.
that they're supposedly coming out is
Well, but it's still going to be able to run some pretty high end games.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely, yeah.
PC. I mean, high end PC is very very expensive, but a good serviceable gaming PC, at least just for the tower part of it, isn't that much money, and it's not going to be that much money in comparison to this new Xbox. So, you have a gap between, the person that's going to buy like an Xbox One X or an Xbox One versus a PC. All I'm saying is if you're going up to buying the Series X, it's not that much more of a jump just to jump to PC. So I just feel like they're competing themselves out of the market. I just feel
the
like
tower looks PC-ish. It's like they're making a point to make it not like a console. They really are trying to move it towards what you said, PC. But that's a different group of people. Why?
It is. It's a different group of people, and like I have Xbox Game Pass on my PC, and I like the Xbox stuff on PC. I like the Xbox stuff on PC
it's cheap,
so much.
It's nice, right?
Yeah, exactly. I like it so much that there's no reason I'll buy an Xbox because I already have all of it.
See, if they had a little dongle or something to like stream that, would you buy it then? Because then you'd have it on every little TV if they had it for...
No, because my internet sucks. And
but if you had to get internet...
but my point is, again, half the country doesn't have good enough internet for this.
But if you can mix it with PC, though, that's the thing. They're so confused. They don't know what the hell they're doing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You just have to have very succinct, very easy to understand, and very marketable products. And I just feel like they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot. I could be completely wrong about this.
I just think like having a physical box, the same thing of what we said earlier about Blockbuster. You had DVD players, you had VCRs, and then Blockbuster, right, how they should have transitioned into this streaming thing. I really think Microsoft thought this, okay, we're going to transition console gamers because consoles are going away. They thought that in 2009. They were proven wrong. We all kind of thought that too. There's a chance that consoles, 4th gen, this is going to be it and everything's moving to stream. It is moving towards streaming, but it's not moving at that fast.
Yeah,
so they really thought like, okay, the Xbox, we're just going to move them over to PC and streaming. And that's going to be it. And they're still going with that plan. And it's not like Blockbuster and Netflix. It's not. I think consoles are different. I think they just are. I think we're always going to have.
You think they're always going to be a console?
I think we're always going to have a console. Yeah, for the next 10 years.
Yeah, until the entire country gets good enough internet to be able to do all that stuff.
Yeah, it's all about the internet.
Then it's going to happen.
As soon as that internet comes out,
I don't know.
It's gone like that. I'm telling you right now. As soon as that you can make anything stream through there. It's gone.
I've said for a long time, like the best thing that could happen to Microsoft is Nintendo and Microsoft somehow joining forces, and Nintendo takes care of the software and Xbox takes care of the hardware. But with all the dumb decisions Nintendo's made on hardware,
true. That would be a great combo because.
Yeah.
But with all the bad decisions Microsoft has made on hardware, in my view, in the last decade or so, I mean, it's the same crap that like Nintendo was doing the decade before.
Do you kind of feel like, I know you're saying, whatever, but I actually feel the moves that they've made, if Nintendo asked them to do that, they would do it in a heartbeat.
Oh, Nintendo!
They're never going to do that.
Nintendo would be the power. They would be the power holder in that situation for sure.
But Microsoft would be completely happy making machines for someone else. That's what they love to do.
Absolutely.
So if that opportunity presented itself, they would go for it. I never see that happening until, maybe if there's a big pandemic somewhere and they need to make amends with all these people they've infected, whatever, maybe like that would be some weird kind of like bridge together. If this terrible coronavirus would bring anything together, it says, oh, we're so sorry, long bow, here, you can make our consoles now. Because Nintendo doesn't need Microsoft needs Nintendo. And when it goes that way, Nintendo knows what they have. They will never give themselves up.
I don't know. The whole thing I think is just kind of odd in general. And like I said, I could be wrong. I mean, if you had asked me before this generation, what was going to happen, I might have given you the wrong answer.
But to tell you the truth, though, I see more hype in the Xbox Series than I do PS5.
But that's because they haven't released what the PS5 looks like.
But
yet.
I think the PSVR is going to be a thing.
The whole lead up to this next generation, Microsoft has been, I feel like, much more open about the next generation than Sony. Sony's been playing the cards closer to the chest, but I feel like they're just sort of like, we have this thing we're working on. We just want to see what Microsoft's going to do, and then we'll just unload.
Yeah,
whatever
they feel like they're going to drop a bombshell. Shane, you were saying like there's more Xbox. I just think it's because Xbox has released more. If you look at Twitter, which is a great analytic on people who like on vibes, Xbox barely moved the needle in the Twitter of like, oh my gosh, what is this? It was more making fun of the size of the thing. When PS5 released the logo, yes, a lot of people, there were memes about it. it was number one on trending for like 3 straight days or something like that. The amount of like activity that the PS5 is getting compared to Microsoft, it's huge, and they haven't released anything yet.
Yeah.
I think PS5 is
I don't know.
This one, I think,
crazy.
is, I don't know. This generation is going to be very. It's going to be weird. It's
The only
still
place
open.
where Sony is
going
going to screw up, if they screw up, is that they're going to make it either too expensive, or
play it too safe.
or they'll do something stupid with DRM. You know, they'll try to do what Microsoft did in the last generation by saying, you know, we're going to restrict
Take
all
a
these.
chance and go.
Well, we're gonna
push it too forward, too
We're
fast.
gonna restrict all the digital rights. You know, you're gonna
Yeah.
buy your game. It's gonna have to be specific to your car. I don't see Sony doing that because
Yeah.
I think everyone learned their lesson in the last cycle.
And that's how Sony succeeded.
But that's how Sony won the last generation, was because Microsoft tried to screw over everybody that was going to buy an Xbox.
I don't think they need to,
But-
just because there's going to be so many more digital purchases. They don't
Correct,
need to handcuff the people that just want to buy the disc. They're like, okay, you want to buy the disc? Buy the disc.
Yeah. But
'Cause they're still gonna make
but
so much money on digital.
I just feel like, short of Sony doing something really dumb, you know, with what
Yeah.
Microsoft's putting out so far, I just feel like they're putting themselves in a bad spot. And you know, the other kind of dark horse in this whole thing is nobody knows what Nintendo has planned. I mean, they're running off cycle, but
Yeah, it is a sort of weird off cycle.
you know, after those things release and everything else, sometime in
Are they working on a power console right now?
No,
Not a Pro Switch. I'm talking like some completely
they're
different
going to
thing.
be sometime in 2021. We're going to start getting rumors about the weirdo Nintendo console that's going to replace Switch or the Switch 2 or whatever.
I
that
think
thing
I don't
is.
even
So-
think that it's going to replace the Switch. I think it's going to be completely different. I think the Switch is its own handheld thing. I think it's just going to be a powerhouse, whatever it is.
Yeah, maybe. I don't.
That's
know.
in my opinion. I don't know. I just always looked at the Switch as a handheld first.
But Nintendo, for the last couple generations, has not tried to go power.
I know, but I'm just
they go
saying.
content.
But
You
I'm not
think
saying
they're-
console, but like
I
another
think they're due
direct.
to go power.
No, not necessarily power. Just a direct console, not the hybrid.
Yeah, but fine. You're saying they're gonna make a new console, but not have it. So that's the Wii U. That's the Wii.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't think they've actually released their home console yet. Like, I know they would have this weird mid-gen console release. That's a handheld. So they still haven't released their home console, in my opinion.
yeah.
I don't know. That's a weird way to look
I
at it. I know
agree.
I'm
is there
very wrong,
success-
probably.
Well, no, I'm just saying, is there success in something like that? I'm not questioning if you think that's what you think, which is
Yeah.
great. I'm just wondering, what would Nintendo have to offer in a console that's less powerful than everything else? Because they did that. The Wii U was.
It's the match 'em. It's the match.
Nintendo's going to find some
weird thing to do.
You know, in the middle thing. It's going to be something kind of like the Switch. I just don't see that. The Switch has been so successful that I think they're basically just going to make a powered up version. Or what I kind of hope is that they make 2 versions, one with like a really big screen, like an iPad Pro, you know, and then another one with the small.
See, I want to go crazy. I want to know.
I want to
Forget
go.
this
I
next
want to go
console.
super crazy. I want to go super crazy. I want to have a console so you have your there, but then you could touch screen type of deal thing. Like,
You
just
mean
make
like-
a TV
like
with
Minority
it in
Report,
there,
where you
and you could
set-
touch the whole screen and do everything.
Yeah, it'd be too expensive though, man.
I know.
You can't move
That'd
it
be
around.
great.
That's
I'd
like
love
a
it.
weird Virtual Boy dream. I don't even
know.
know what you're saying.
I know it's a weird thing.
I hope they make it all red and put your.
I know. I just want red
you
and
put
black.
your
That's it.
face
That's
in
all I
How about
want.
this?
it
I
makes you
don't
go
want. I
blind.
actually don't
Yeah.
want the next Nintendo thing. I want 2 Nintendo things from now, because I feel like they're due to do something really weird and stupid and Labo-ish, and then the next thing's going to be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So actually, I really want to see what Nintendo's console is going to be 10 years from now. That to me is more interesting than the next thing, because it's going to kind of come out and it'll probably be quasi disappointing, and then the next thing that we're not expecting will be kind of like how the Switch was like, wait, what does it do? It's this. It takes apart and did this, and then it did what it did.
I want the new Nintendo to just be a TV on the wall, and it's just everything all in one. Boom, your touch screen in it. You could remote it. You could do everything. That's what I want.
I think
Do
that's-
everything, Nintendo.
To me, that's what the Switch is. You got the TV and
No,
you got
I
the
wanna-
handheld.
50 inches on the TV. Boom, right there. It's all
right.
built in.
You're turning.
I know.
This
I
car
know,
is going to
I
be the
know.
Homer.
So we need to end this segment.
Yeah, segment.
I'm going.
over.
It's over.
right.
Sorry, guys.
No, that's fine. Yeah, but anyway, the quick news about PS5, since we spent a lot of time on the Xbox and this whatever is
Shane's crazy.
the PS. No. The PS. The PS5 supposedly rumors are it's going to be able to be backwards compatible with every single part of the PlayStation library, which means PS1,
That'd
2,
be
3,
awesome.
4, and
Yeah,
5.
I'll be a
Amazing.
day one buyer if it is.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
specifically disc PS4 and disc PS3, but before that it'll be direct emulation. I don't know if you have to prove it by putting the disc in or whatever, but I feel like any system will be able to do PS1, PS2. PS2 is a little bit more difficult for them to kind of emulate.
That'd probably be a little.
So I don't know how
funky.
they're going to do that, but if this machine can play everything, that'd be great. But they're evidently this leaked source that who knows if it's true says that disc-wise, popping the disc in PS3 onward, that would be crazy.
That would be nuts.
That'd be nuts.
I mean, that'd great.
And
man.
solid state,
Yeah.
they're trying to make it. They haven't decided on it. They're trying to make it 2 terabytes. But again, this is all just like someone who's leaking stuff. We're not sure, but it's very specific. We'll find out soon, probably a few days after this
You know what I
episode
want to know
airs.
about? I just want to know about PSVR. The next step.
They're
I don't
probably
think they're
gonna.
changing.
Don't give me those stupid ball remotes. Give me a wireless.
I don't think they're changing.
Please.
I mean, they might change the hand grips, but I
They're
don't.
definitely changing those. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
Please.
patents out.
Yeah, I don't.
Is
think,
there? Oh, I didn't
They
see
may
that.
not. They may not be changing the headset that much. It may even be the
Their
same
headset's a great concept,
Yeah.
but just get rid of the
Wires.
lockbox and wires and everything. Give me
Yeah.
one wire and I'll be fine. But
That's
PSVR is great, but the motion tracking and all
They've
that.
kind of so the leaks.
That's what I'm really excited about, man.
Yeah,
I'm
the-
really excited.
The
about.
leaks have kind of said that the new PSVR is going to be able to be backwards compatible with this PSVR.
That's cool.
And then also, what the things that you're saying are going to be the changes. The controllers and everything, the motion is going to be completely different, and it's either going to be wireless or down to next to nothing.
Yeah.
That's what supposedly the rumors say. We'll see. We haven't heard anything really official, and I feel like, are they going to do the console and the PSVR at the same time? Or are they going to wait a year? I don't know.
Hope not. Hope
I
they-
feel like they're going to do the console and the PSVR is going to be a solid year after, but as soon
Yeah.
as the console's out, they'll show concepts with it and all this kind of stuff. E3, who knows what they might have with it.
It'd be cool if they wait a year and it's wireless, that's fine. But if it's a year down the road with the wires,
Yeah.
ugh.
So you heard
Yeah.
it here first. Xbox, we are all kind of skeptical on this, and we're all kind of
Yeah.
confused on what and why they're going to do. I think it's exciting to have new consoles on the horizon. We're right there.
Yeah.
PS5 too. There's a big question mark there. Nintendo. Everybody's poised to do something different. I do feel Xbox is the strangest cat out of the bunch. They really feel like they want
I
They,
don't know.
re-
It's
they
either-
really have to nail it.
It's
this
either going to be
time.
a home run or just a total
Exactly. You're right
or,
on that.
or a total flop. I'm not sure.
Like you said, who's the Xbox X for?
People either want simple or they want complex.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know. Watch me
gonna
be
be
wrong.
fun.
A year from now,
Hey.
I'll be wrong. But I don't know. Just based on what I know, it just seems odd.
Well, that was an interesting take, guys. I think we've done our mouths and our minds a disservice to keep going because we're all tired and we need to go to bed.
It's true.
So anyway, we'll save our handheld holler for the next episode. Join us next time, 3 weeks from now, for episode 53.
53.
Thank you guys. Of course, reach out to us, email, iTunes reviews. We really appreciate it. Always appreciate hanging out, talking with you guys. What do you guys say? Episode 52?
It's in the books.
In the books.
In the books.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Celebrity voices are impersonated. No celebrities were harmed in filming of this episode.
Excuse me, sir. The show's over.
Get away, zit face.
Shh.